Hello and welcome to the Ball Games Podcast Christmas special. Let's get into it. I'm joined here by our good friends James and Michael. They are joining us for our Christmas podcast today. Say hello, boys. Just wave, you rude cunts. There's audio listeners as well.
We have blind
Hello,
people.
everyone.
We have blind people.
For anyone listening on Spotify, the two guests have just waved. Bruno, I'm also joined by Banjo, who's also in his Christmas outfit. He's not very happy about it, but
He doesn't look happy at all.
I've had to bribe him with a treat to come and sit here. That's why he's still got the hat on. And Bruno's here.
Yeah, that's it.
Great.
Yeah,
So, boys, what a year it's been. Big shitter of a year. But to be fair, there's been some up points. James, you've become a dad for the second time. Let's get a round of applause on that.
Thank you.
very
Yeah.
cheerful.
And Michael has just become a dad for the first time.
Wow.
And Bruno got not guilty.
Yes, I plead not guilty.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a shitter of a year, isn't it, boys? How's it been for you guys?
An absolute blur.
I thought he was going to say an absolute blast. What a fucking riot.
Gosh.
No,
Could have been.
It's been. I've been lucky that I have. I have a lot of people have been furloughed and things like that.
Yeah.
But I've been pretty lucky with work.
Yeah.
But still,
Boy.
Good boy.
Yeah.
it's very weird.
Oh,
Society's
Banjo's
changed.
just killed my camera.
Yeah,
But
Banjo
it's
killed your
normal now to not hug, which is weird.
cat. Well,
Yeah. I sort of like get that when I'm like watching a film or something and I see people getting close and I'm like, hey, keep
what are
your
you doing?
distance. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
James, I
Look
guarantee
this up.
you are an absolute Karen. How has
No,
Banjo
it's-
managed to jump off my lap and somehow click stop video?
That dog is going places.
I'm not even joking. The other day, he jumped on my mum's bed and managed to send a text for her. That just obviously it was fucking gibberish, but fucking that dog's got talent, mate. Just for fucking shit up in general. I should just start. Liam, our friend Liam, was meant to join us, but I've actually got some news as to why he can't. So I received a letter literally today in the post. It said it was from Her Majesty's Prison, Uxbridge. It was from our friend Liam. It goes like this: "Hello, you bunch of cheap whores. It's a shame I can't join you, but I'll be out soon, and when I am out, I'm going to fuck your shit up." And he's also threatened to expose the group chat. So
Sounds like
should
him.
be worried. You guys don't know he's been in a lot of trouble recently. There was one where he basically took me from my house, drove me out to his, that massive yacht he's got, drove me out to sea, chucked me overboard, and then lobbed like a load of money at me. The next week he took Bruno and said, "Oh, I know you had a secret stag without me," like basically got him beaten up. And last week he was actually arrested because he kidnapped me and took me to this secret cult he started. And it wasn't good. So yeah, he's in prison now.
So surprisingly, that doesn't actually
Surprise you.
surprise me.
No.
Yeah, because
I'll be honest, boys. Once I think he must, because he listens to this every week, so he obviously knows that we're telling the stories about him. And I don't know if he sees it as a challenge, how to one up himself each time. I was a bit worried about you boys once I've invited you, just in case he decides, he's going to intercept and kidnap one of you two. New fathers as well. It's the last thing you'd want.
The logical thing to do here now is just out him completely and just share his LinkedIn profile.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean,
to be fair, in his defence, if he were to kidnap myself and Mike Ring, as like newly dads,
It would be a favor.
he'd be doing you a favour.
because
Yeah.
we'd actually get a decent night's sleep.
I don't. No, you fucking wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Believe me, mate.
Yeah,
I've still not. For 3 days I've not slept because I'm panicking.
That boy is out of control. Trust me.
Even if he were to bundle me into
a solid 12 hours.
The last time when he got me at this cult, mate, he basically tried to get me to consume like a dining table's worth full of narcotics, and he said if I didn't do it, he was going to get his goons to kill me. And that's when the SWAT team stormed it. Luckily, I got out. But to start, any of you boys drinking anything?
I should be drinking.
Jay, oh yes, mate. On the Budweisers, we like to call out brands that we've got around us to see if they're going to give us a sponsor. If we give it enough exposure. The other problem is every time we do like some of the news, Bruno ends up ripping into one of the big boys. Like he's ripped into Bezos, Elon Musk. He's had to go at Apple. So we're really limiting ourselves to porn websites and alcohol, basically.
Pornhub is still an option.
But I'm also drinking Jameson. Triple distilled Irish whiskey, delicious with ginger ale, sorry, on ice or not on ice.
Mhm.
Well, I've got no actual sleep, so I'm on water.
What brand?
Like Soda
What
Stream.
brand?
Other bubbly machines are available.
Nice, Mike. Is that straight from the tap or is that bottled?
It is it's straight from the tap. But
And
it's
who
filtered
who provides the water for your area where you live?
Is it Affinity water?
tap.
Thames Valley.
It's Thames Valley, yeah. So
Oh mate, well Thames Valley. He's
Shout out to,
drinking the
Thames
finest
Valley.
Thames Valley water. Thames Valley, if you're listening.
other water providers are available. I've had my media training, McBride.
It's already derailed, I think. I think Michael has got it spot on because he's heard me say on a couple of them other things are available because we don't want to just say we don't want only Budweiser to think they can sponsor us and other beers are like, oh well, they only want Budweiser.
I'll drink
You
anything.
know, I had Guinness the other week. And there's other alcohols in the background. I've got some Japanese whiskey up there, but they don't understand me. So.
Yeah, they will not understand what you're saying. So
Oh,
I'm pretty sure this shit is gonna derail really fast.
yeah, because I'll be honest, mate. This fits a whole bottle of Budweiser, and I've basically filled that with whiskey. I didn't realize how high I was pouring it because I was getting ready for you boys. So at some point, I'm gonna probably fall asleep. It'd be mid conversation, and you boys would be like, "Michael,
Who's gonna
Yeah.
stop the recording then?
Good job,
Yeah,
banjos
exactly.
in the background to run technicals.
yeah." Well, they would be expect me to take him out because I do that every time I'm pissed. He's like, "Oh, he's drunk. I better go get my lead." Yeah,
Oh god.
I've got the Switch in the background as well, hoping Nintendo see that.
Yeah,
Nintendo, if you
got the
listening. Pop
Switch.
vinyls, we've got them.
Yeah,
I've got a DWE album up there in case he wants to jump on a track with me.
lovely.
I'll tell you, boys, actually, someone dropped me a beat. Someone dropped me a beat quick. It's Christmas time, the best time of year. We spread goodwill, we spread good cheer. I'm going to drink whiskey and too much beer. All the haters talking shit I ain't trying to hear. The pain this year has been substantial. To top it all off, Christmas has been cancelled. Excuse my candor, but I'm going to be blunt. Fuck you, Tories. Boris Johnson's a cunt. Word to your mother.
Little Bojo.
Boom. That's how we do it, baby.
I expected more of a
I was about to say
bigger
you got
reception
sent-
than that.
I was about to say you got sent for someone.
I was expecting a bigger reception. That James gave me the hype I needed. Michael, you were very subdued. You didn't seem to care at all. I thought you'd have been raining fire on these bitches.
I
But
was allowing you to go there, mate. You were fully in
you're
control.
just in awe.
I was the only prompt I was going to give you was to send for someone,
Yeah.
and you did. So I just backed away.
I missaid haters as well. I felt embarrassed, so I lost confidence in myself towards the last verse.
Never lose
Fix that
confidence in
device.
yourself.
Thank you, James. I need you every morning to just call me and say that.
we all need James to do
Just
that.
a voice message every morning. Don't lose confidence in yourself
Michael, never.
Believe.
until I truly disgrace myself, and then it needs to be the opposite way.
I must say, I'm actually quite impressed with your Santa hat. I feel
Mine-
like I've got the BTEC version
This isn't mine. I think this is my mum's.
because I've
I
got.
just
no-
found it on the radiator and commandeered it. I was going to buy one on Amazon, but then I saw this one. I was like, well, that's getting nabbed.
Your one is like legit. Mine is like the not movie quality one.
It would have been a bit more ridiculous as well if I only wore banjos on, it's on my head. I could have worn it down over my penis, which I'm not wearing anything from waist down anyway. But
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah.
I can see Michael's not as well. I can see his chode from here.
It's over there.
Yeah,
Rolled out.
you shut it in the door earlier. I saw you.
Reel it back in. But
Yeah,
James,
so-
don't put yourself down, mate. That's a lovely hat.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know why he's doing that. And you're
very
dressed like a
good.
little Christmas pudding.
Courageous, strong, and beautiful.
You're our little
Although-
Christmas pudding, James. I'd love to take a bite out of you.
It's
Oh,
quite ironic because I hate Christmas pudding.
I dislike it as well, but I'd love to shag you.
Thank you. It's quite nice because the lower you go, the more brown there is.
Yeah, it gets a
Oh,
bit
yeah.
more
It's more like you.
culturally appropriate.
More natural.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah,
Do you
Christmas
know-
pudding is it's nasty. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Tasteful.
It's actually a shame Liam can't join us because I had this plan that every time he spoke, when I edit it afterwards, I was just going to cut out every part where he spoke. So it just looks like he was just sat in silence the entire time. Or yeah, I could have just muted him. But for the edit, it's funnier because it just looks like he's just like this constantly. Like Walmart Ed Sheeran.
Like some sort of podcast Ofsted instructor.
Yeah, exactly.
inspector.
He's like an invigilator. Yeah,
He's the
he's, like,
enforcer.
he's Ofsted. He's got his little fucking. He's clearly got one of them. What do you call it? Clipboards.
Yeah.
He's just
He'd
taking
have that.
notes for the podcast. Oh god.
James, how's the new job?
Good. Really good. So I used to work on the ramp. So I used to work out in all sorts of weather conditions. And finally, for the first time in 6 years, I'm now back
Back
into
in
an
the office, mate.
environment.
How's that?
So,
Must be weird.
it's good. And I
You
think
enjoying it?
be ready to go back into an office environment. For the last couple of days, because we're now in tier 4,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll talk about later on in more detail.
I'm glad we've got a health professional with us, mate. I'm going to put all the questions to him and ask him what he's playing at in the complete wrong sector, but we'll still go for him.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I've got him on here. I'm going to string him up. I'm going to basically make it look like it's entirely Michael Ring's fault.
We have to say it's not
I think Liam was right to be worried about losing his job by the sound effects.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry, James, go on.
Definitely. But yeah, it's been good because I've been able to work from home, which has never been an option for me.
Yeah.
Because earlier this year I was furloughed for like 4.5 months because my job, I had to actually be at the airport. So now it's just like, yeah, I can continue to work. And it's quite nice, actually. A nice
Yeah.
change. So
How are your colleagues?
good.
I imagine you must be quite popular in the office, mate. You're quite a bubbly person.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, I try to just be me as much as
Is
possible.
someone- wait,
and
The way
that-
you said that, is someone picking on you?
No.
Is someone bullying you in the office? Because I will fucking go there. We will roll up
No,
squaddy.
You know what it's like when it's like
We
early
roll heavy and we roll deep, son.
It's
I mean,
quite
for
it's quite
sure.
early, Jay. It's quite early days, so I don't want to release the full James out on them, you know. So
Yeah.
just
Keep
give
your
them,
pants on, James.
exactly.
So you're
Yeah,
releasing
full game.
the COVID-19 version 1 version of James.
Look,
You're not mutated into the new strain yet.
Pass that probation first.
we've
before you
been
release
on
full
enough
James.
nights out and on enough stags to know what the real James looks like.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I can't wait for it. That's why I want you to go and get some beers in. That's why I want you to start drinking some beers, mate. You look thirsty.
It's probably a good thing I've done.
You look thirsty. He looks thirsty, don't you think, boys?
Actually, yeah.
Look, all I've got in the house is wine. That's all I've got.
So
Still
drink
alcohol
wine.
in it. What's wrong with that? Upper class.
Sick of drinking
Especially
wine.
if you bring it
So,
here and you can say what brand it is as well.
Yeah.
Actually, that is very true. Right. Bear with me 1 minute.
Someone fill the dead air. Michael, say something inappropriate.
Here we have
That was fucking quick.
Shiraz. Oh, I had this baby.
He had that next to him.
Standby. I mean, the tree's like just there, and it was under the tree. Wait,
What's that? Is that a Hardy Shiraz?
that is a Hardee's. It's a Hardee's
Right,
Shiraz.
Michael, do the line.
The 2019, but
Michael's got to do the line where other wines are available.
other wines are available.
That's it. That's the
So
point.
other types of wine.
Mike is the hype man of this group. That's a Shiraz Cabernet. You should get it right if you want to get people interested, mate. Is it any good?
I don't know because it's unopened.
What, you've never tried it before?
No, I haven't. Actually.
Whoa, virgin!
I was drinking another red wine.
Yeah.
But this that bottle's now
Just
finished.
house red.
Yeah, house red.
House red.
It's
Just
in
the
the
blood
house.
that comes out in your urine. That's not wine, James.
It's the house red.
Michael, how's fatherhood?
It's a bit of a, I don't know really. Very tiring.
Very
I
descriptive.
can tell. Look, as soon as he goes, I don't know really. That is the sound of a tired man.
Yeah, I tell you, I got 3 hours sleep is now
Oh shit.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Sweet,
I'll
yeah.
take that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
fair enough.
I don't really know. Really, nothing prepares you.
Has it hit you? I suppose it probably hasn't hit you fully yet, has it?
No, James will know what I mean. It's like
James is never there, mate. Honestly, when I went round there a few weeks ago, the guy was absent. I was basically looking after his kids. I was holding his baby so Ellen could eat her dinner, and then I was entertaining Alex by playing football with him. I don't know where the fuck this guy was for the entire night. I'm not sure if I spoke to him.
An
that
absent
does
dad.
explain. Last time I was around, Ellen asked me where James was. Have you seen James? Have you brought James?
It's your house, Ellen. You tell me.
I'm usually like in the garden, like fucking around with like paint on the jet wash, power washing everything in the garden.
We all know because you put it on the stories on Instagram every single
Yeah.
time.
Instead of
You're either-
parenting, he's
You're
fucking.
either cleaning your
parenting.
patio, James,
Instead of
or
parenting, he's digging up worms in the garden.
you're either cleaning your patio or you're doing bench press.
Yeah, see, I'm multitasking.
You can't be posting that anymore on Facebook, Facebook and Instagram. You got with your job. That must be a nice distraction from social media.
Well, yeah, it is because I'll be honest with you. When I'm working from home, it's just I feel like I get
Distractions.
more done at home than I would do at the office because there's always, oh, James, we're going for a coffee. Would you like to join us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll come for a coffee. 20 minutes later, we come back to our desk.
Yeah, it's nice of them to invite you though, mate. You'd be pissed off if they
No,
didn't.
it's nice. But then, then I've got to go for a piss. So then that takes, say, 5 minutes, washing your hands and hand sanitizing.
What a fucking grueling day that sounds like. I've got to go for a piss after having a 20-minute coffee.
Do you not piss at home?
You've got it tough, mate. I don't know how you do it.
Here, you're missing the point, okay? And then I come back to
I'm
my
deliberately avoiding the point. There's
right?
a difference.
And then I'm sat there, I've drank my coffee, I've gone to the toilet, and then, right, fine. I will start my work again. About 20 minutes, half an hour later. James, we're going for a coffee, or James, we're going for lunch. Or I decide that I want to eat, or I decide that I want a coffee. So that takes me away from my desk. And I've got to go make my coffee, I've got to go this, and then
You're not allowed to have them at your desk.
you can, but it's just like you sort of want a bit of
Yeah, you get judged, don't you? You
time
get
away.
judged as
But
well.
it's just like, do you know what? When I'm at home and the kids aren't in the room, and and I'm sort of looking after them whilst I can work, I just put my headphones in and I'm in my zone. And
Yeah,
I can go 3, 4, even 5 hours without any distractions, and I get so much done.
yeah,
Like I was given work. I was given tasks to do on Monday morning. We had a meeting, and today at 3 o'clock was the cut-off date, and the cut-off time. It was right. So this is what we have to do, James. You have to do yada yada yada. Have it all complete by the end of play on Wednesday. I got it all done by the end of Tuesday, and I was like, all right. So I've basically got a day of work where I've got nothing to do. It's good,
yeah. That is.
getting it done.
Yeah,
But I'm just surprised at how quick I'm just cracking on with it. Whereas if I was in the office, it would take me till Wednesday to do.
I'm very much the same. When I first started working from home, there was loads of distractions. Getting probably used to it, but now I'm sort of in the zone. Nothing distracts me. I'm there. I get the work done as soon as I can, and I'm ready. I can have sort of put something on in the background, a bit of music, or some Netflix or something on the TV in the background, just as background noise. But find it pretty chill. The dog just fucking chills there with me. That's
the
pretty
difference.
easy.
Working from
Shay's
home,
chilling upstairs all the times now, James. She won't come in here with the dog here, but
you don't have anyone bothering you when you're at home.
yeah. And I
That's the
find,
thing.
as harsh as it sounds, I do get on with people I work with, but there's no one that I'd consider close enough that I'd be like, oh, let's have a 30-minute chin wag with. Do you know what I mean? Whereas because of the job I'm in, I'm dealing with so many people internally and externally, and I'm sort of the go-to guy. People will just come over to you constantly. So the thing that I'm doing then is interrupted by whatever they want or whatever they want to talk about or help with.
Yeah.
So then I've then got to get myself back into the mindset and work out where I was, what I was doing. So working from home, I don't have those distractions. Okay, they might pop up on a Teams message. I don't have to read it straight away. Just ignore it and then get to it later. You know what I mean? So I agree. I find it's a relaxed vibe. It's a sort of vibe that I like. You know, just you are relaxed, but it does enable you to get more done. I think when your mind is relaxed, especially your body. You know what I mean? When you can actually concentrate on things without distractions.
Agree. Yeah.
That's
definitely.
What about you, Mike? Have you been working from home as well? Are you still going in?
Yeah, I got I do majority of it from home, but some of the things I need to do require me to get into the office. Some of it's paper based,
Yeah.
like obviously in research. A lot of it's, everything's got an audit trail.
Yeah.
And currently in the company I'm at, like, we've got a lot of paper based files and stuff. So I need to go in and make sure that things are in order.
Yeah.
All very,
Yeah, I suppose that must be
stuff.
it's quite a difficult part of your job, isn't it? Because obviously in all sorts of medical fields, audits are like, the be all and end all, really, aren't they? It can make or break a companies, or even private sector companies, public sector companies can be made or broken by that. But also on top of that, you're obviously working with a system that's now being changed from paper based to electronic and on an actual database somewhere. So you've got to then update that as well. Transition.
Everything's going electronic because the projects are getting bigger and bigger, more complex, pulling so much more data from across so many more countries. It just has to be. You couldn't be. Some of the projects could not be paper based.
Yeah,
it would be
insane. It'd be insane. Isn't it? Yeah. Imagine sending a fax in 2020. There's people that still do that. That's mad. You find that's crazy. There was obviously, I think you guys have probably seen those videos on Facebook as well, of like 18-year-old kids that wouldn't even know how to operate like a phone with buttons on it, or those old ring dial telephones, or a cassette player. We've been in really such a weird position of where we've grown up. We've grown through technology moving so quickly. If you think about when we were really young kids, even CDs were fairly new technology.
Yeah,
it was cassette players, tape players.
When I was a kid, we didn't have CDs.
When you were a kid, they were still carving stone, mate. You learned to fucking drive in a horse and carriage.
Actually, I did.
Kids these days have no patience. We had dial-up.
But remember that, mate. I don't think I had internet until I was in like year 8.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. That's mad.
Yeah.
It's a luxury.
You've got to think the phones we had as well when we were younger, like even the first mobiles we had would have had like that aerial sticking out.
The BT Cellnet baby.
Yeah. I think the first one I had was like a Motorola shitty thing. It had like a fake version of Snake on it. That was sick though.
You remember those Motorola's that you had to pull the bloody antenna out? Like,
no, we don't. I don't remember those.
Fuck off.
Yeah, the BT Cellnet baby had a.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. That was the hench one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my dad was like,
but even
you get a new one.
Yeah.
You can only get a new one if it breaks. So I unscrewed.
You can tell we had Irish parents. It's the same.
Well,
It's the same. Only if it breaks, and they'd know if you broke it, James. That's the problem. If you broke it deliberately, they knew. They knew.
See, I
Unscrewed
didn't
the
get a phone
antenna.
until I was in year 8 or year 9, I think, and my first phone was the Nokia 3310.
I think that's a good thing, though. Like you say, I think my first phone was year 7 or year 8, end of year 7, start of year 8. I think, Mike, you were probably the same.
But now,
I think that's a good thing about that.
I'm seeing kids
with a better phone than you,
who look younger than like 12, 13 years old, with a massive touchscreen phone.
Yeah. Like, you know what the thing is? The way the smartphone is now, it is basically like a little computer in your hand. It can be used very, like for educational things, it can be used so
of
well.
course, yeah.
But
yeah.
there is the question: is what is it being used for that, or is it just being used for games like
Social media. Stuff. Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Going back to us growing up, so we started with cassette players, moved to CDs. Actually, I remember floppy disks first of all.
Yeah.
For a PC, for example, the first video games I played were on floppy disks, and then the Sega Mega Drive was the next one I had. So even the level of consoles as they've progressed, we've gone through.
Mate,
but
I had
even
a Commodore, an Amiga. So that was old.
Yeah, that was 80s, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm born in the 80s, but you also have the
1880s.
About fuck off.
Hey, your first games console was an abacus. Hey!
In a Roman bath. But you're talking about
Why do these jokes never get old?
Yeah. I do.
No, carry on, Bruno. Sorry.
No, but do you remember? You're talking about floppy disks. You remember the small ones? I still remember the floppy disks that were this size, massive ones. I'm like,
yeah, my dad used to have some of them.
Jesus.
It was crazy. James is still reeling from that abacus.
You know what? I had to Google what an abacus was.
You didn't know
Get it now.
I didn't know what an abacus.
You laughed louder than anyone.
So. Let it load up.
Wait for it to see it. It's got a focus. Wait.
It's not loading, but yeah.
We all know what it is.
I actually forget that James is the youngest one in this chat today.
He's only a year younger than us two.
So he's still the youngest anyway.
I am still the baby.
But that is the funny thing. We went from there to CDs, and then tape, like cassettes went to CDs. And then CDs became obsolete very quickly. Even DVDs came into play. They lasted a bit long, but then they went obsolete. Even Blu-ray now is obsolete, let's be honest.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the new and improved thing going forward. Blu-ray disc player and Blu-ray DVD players. And then now it's just...
Do you remember sending like songs and pictures to each other like on infrared or Bluetooth?
Yeah, I do remember.
Didn't it? File transfer via Bluetooth. Like 10 minutes to send like 20 megabytes. It's like fucking 2 years.
When I was at uni, we used to send the results of the tests, the answers through infrared and Bluetooth to all the phones in the room. You're doing the test and all the phones are ringing, everyone receiving the answers to the test.
Then you had things like LimeWire, which like if you downloaded 10 songs, 9 of those songs had viruses in them.
At least.
And one of them had a virus, but it was incomplete.
What was the other one? You had like a Pirate Bay I remember when it.
Mate, that's still going.
Yeah.
That's still going, mate.
That was like crazy at the time. Everyone going, "Oh, Pirate Bay! There's everything there."
Before we get too sidetracked, it's just crazy that through our lifetime. I mean, me and Michael are gonna be 30 next year. How quickly technology has progressed from the generation beforehand. Do you think our parents, Michael, the technology progression for them was nowhere near as rapid as it is now? And your kids, for example, it's going to be even faster. Do you think when your kids are 18, the iPhones we have now are going to be pieces of dirt?
Yeah.
You're going to have like a phone on your wrist. There's already technological companies creating it that it just goes. You can get an implant and it will just show up on your wrist as a screen.
Well, those folding touchscreens.
Yeah, that's crazy. That Samsung one.
Yeah,
I don't really see the point of it right now, personally. I don't know why you'd need a folding touchscreen on a Samsung, but you can see that they're basically just showcasing the technology that they have at their disposal.
It looks a bit gimmicky, like those hinges.
Yeah.
They look like they're going to last about 5 seconds.
That's the other thing. Phones can't take a beating these days like they used to be able to.
Man, like James was saying, he had the Nokia,
you never put a case on your phone. You'd never put a screen protector on the plastic or glass that you used.
But they used to be like 20 quid.
Yeah.
Now your phones cost like over $1,000.
But again, because there's so much technology in them and individual components that build up the device as it is that make it the technology we have today. But that's what makes it flimsy as well. It's crazy.
Definitely. I went to CEX not too long ago, and they had Nokia's still.
You went to the sex shop.
I only found out the other day that it's actually called. Sex.
I only found that out this year, mate. I know.
I thought it was CEX.
Yeah.
No,
Because I saw an advert of it when they're like.
Yeah, same.
I was like,
Is
It's
it
just
pronounced
sex.
sex?
And I was like, I can't believe they're saying
because I wasn't
What?
actually watching what the advert was, but I heard him say sex. I was like,
Your attention went
immediately I
straight.
perked up.
I'm a male.
What?
Someone say sex.
Like a meerkat. I was like, have I
And they
left,
were still
have I left
selling
Google Chrome up
Nokia
to?
phones. But things they had Nokia phones.
Yeah,
Same.
still
mate, they're
have it,
making a comeback. Retro stuff, and that is classed as retro these days, is booming. Retro football shirts, retro gaming consoles, retro phones. These things are making a booming comeback. People love the nostalgia of it.
Well,
Yeah,
the,
but
well, the
Nokia
Motorola
made-
Razor came out again as
Yeah,
a folding flat screen.
that was a waste of time. What the fuck? But it's not going to be the same. It's not going to have the same feel. Do you know what I mean?
But it's so tempting
Yeah,
for the nostalgia.
gimmick. Yeah, that's what they're relying on. They're relying on gimmick and nostalgia. Just buy the original, mate. There's probably plenty on eBay.
Mm.
The original was actually quite fun phone.
Probably go get my old one from the Brunel Fields.
Yeah, it's probably still there, mate. Probably fossilized and still working.
Probably like still got
It'd be
battery.
funny if you open it up, it's still got battery, and you realise that you've got 20 missed calls from your mum from today. Michael, what are you doing in that field now?
Back here now.
How is your mum doing, Mike?
Yeah, really well, really well. She's
Has she struggled for treatment this year or anything?
no, she's been on like tablet form
That's good.
chemotherapy.
Yeah,
so
that's a lot
I
better.
suppose it's ideal really in the situation because she
Yeah.
doesn't go in for treatment.
I mean, the ordeal of doing that anyway takes its toll, doesn't it? You know, but I suppose if at least she's comfortable at home, do it at her leisure, basically.
Mm. And she's Irish as well, so
Yeah, so she can just tough it out anyway, mate. She
crack on.
a little dram of whiskey and she's fine. A little bit of poachine and she's fucking anyone's. She's out there. How's your dad doing as well?
Yeah, it's good. It's fine.
Have you been able to see him much this year?
Yeah, I get to see, not as close as you'd like to, but still get to see them.
Yeah, get him on
Yeah,
Zoom.
go
Get him
out.
on a Zoom as well, mate. I don't know if you have, but
Bring them on
Yeah.
on the podcast next week.
I'll have to show.
mate,
out
I'd have
some
his mum and dad on the podcast would be the best one ever. It would actually probably take off just from them two. We'd be replaced. It would just be the Nuno and Tim show.
That would be something that I would pay to watch.
And do you know what? I wouldn't blame anyone for wanting that. I'd probably prefer to watch them as well. Yeah, it'd be brilliant. Anyway, let's go back to this year. So we're talking about how it's been a bit of a fucking shitty year. How mad it's been. And we haven't. It's crazy how no one's been able to go anywhere, but so much mad shit has gone on. If you think Tiger King was this year,
Yeah,
Ah,
George Floyd being murdered was this year.
and then
It all feels like a lifetime ago, whilst it only feels like yesterday that it was January. Do you know what I mean?
the year went really fast, man.
What about James? Have you watched any good films this year, mate?
Fast and Furious recently. I
Fucking
bought that.
Well, you need to specify which one. There's about 24.
All of them. I bought the
He
box
spent
set.
eight. He
A
spent 8
box
days.
set. Shit.
I spent £12.99 on all 8 films in a box set off Amazon.
I haven't seen the latest one. Is that the one? The latest one's got what's his name in it? Jason Statham, is it? Or Idris Elba?
It's the one with Idris Elba. No, you're talking
So,
about
Idris
Hobbs.
Elba is on.
It's the same fucking franchise, Bruno.
Yeah.
So at the moment, there's only up until Fast and Furious 8 that's released. Fast and Furious 9, there's trailers for them, but the film hasn't been released. It's been pushed back mainly because of COVID.
Hmm.
And then you've got the side, the sort of like side film, which is the Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, but we're going to save it for
I haven't
Christmas
seen
Day.
that.
I've seen that one.
Well, don't ruin.
About it.
Shut Bruno up now because he will spoil it within
No, I
5
won't say
seconds. He
anything.
loves doing that.
There's
Basically,
a trailer for
You
it
can probably
anyway.
work out the plot. There's a general theme.
no, this is totally different, Mike. This one's about child trafficking. You'd love it.
Let's say go to Middle Earth.
Mate, I would pay to watch a remake of Lord of the Rings with fucking Frodo Baggins played by The Rock.
In a Subaru Impreza.
Who wouldn't want that?
Just beating up
Yeah.
every single fucking gork in the film.
He just gets there in rapid time in his Subaru Impreza.
Really kitted out.
Get out, muscle as fuck.
Yeah, he just fucking does that eyebrow at Sauron, like.
With the ring hanging
Us for
down from
10
the-
minutes.
James can do it really well, mate. Look at that. That looked more worried. You looked more worried first. You were like, that's just weird, mate. I was hoping, I was going to try and get James to go into one of, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the first website that James started. It was,
No.
he started a travel website years
this
ago.
Is why you asked me what
It's one of my
film was.
favorite ever stories. I remember he went to your old house near Rosedale College.
Yes.
He started telling me and his brother about this website he started, and it was about his travels and where he went. And he's written down this blog about how he went to America with his family.
Yeah.
90% of it was basically a review of the film Battleship.
It was a good film.
He goes, I was on the plane and then I checked the movies and there was a film Battleship. And then he goes on to explain the entire plot and cast of Battleship on a travel blog. And it is the most amazing thing I've ever heard this day. I hope that website's still out there somewhere.
Look, it was my first ever blog, and it's the first time not ever.
We were 17 years old, I think.
And it was just me just putting my thoughts down, just getting things out, and it was the starting point. And
It's mad to
Yeah.
think that's like 11 to 12 years ago, James, isn't it?
that is scary.
But it was one of the funniest things ever. Speaking of
was.
funny stories from James, though, hey, here he is.
Look who's joining.
Say
us.
hello to all 6 people that listen to this, Zachary. Little Zachary, there he is.
Oh wow,
He's so small, man.
he's really tiny.
Oh, mate.
All right, mate, that's enough.
Give him the other headphone. He might like it. Oh.
Might mute yourself. This probably isn't good for.
No, it's good. People can listen to a crying baby and realise this is their future.
And realize,
Yeah,
fuck this.
future.
I don't want this.
We're just saying to all the 6 people that listen to this podcast, you can say hello to Zachary. This is him, the boy, the prodigy.
The baby room.
He's going to be a striker for Chelsea one day, lining
I'll
up
watch.
alongside Alex. Alex on left wing.
He's doing the. James will know all about the night feeds.
Yeah, it shouldn't be you nursing him though, should it?
No.
Support the head, Michael. Come on. Mate, honestly, when I was was holding Josephine, little Jojo, that kid was trying to kill itself. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I've
She'd
never
like
seen
stay
a
like
baby.
this, and then she would just go.
I've never seen a baby throw its head around so much. She was either trying to nut me or kill herself, mate. She was like this constantly. Support the head, and then the next mate, she's like, "Oh, you're holding me that way, are you? Fuck off!" Bouncing off the other way. It's a fucking
Some of
nightmare, and it's so much pressure as well because it's not even like my kid. So if it does end up snapping its neck when I'm holding it, it's my fault. If it's my kid, I can just be like, "Oh well, just make another one."
Start again.
It was one of the most nerve-wracking things in my life holding babies. Because I'm so tall as well, it's such a long way to fall. Like it's guaranteed death. If James drops it, it might survive. It might survive. But with me, it's
Wheelchair for life.
like an adult falling off Everest, basically. That's the equivalent.
Is he on boob or is he on formula?
It's always about the booze for you, isn't it, mate?
Which is why he's getting really annoyed because he can't smell anything.
Yeah. What's this? This well's run dry.
Where's the other one? Where's the other one with the milk?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Where are you putting him? That's questionable. There's no milk coming out of there, mate.
Try turning around.
You want to get one of them things that James has got, the little swaddling thing.
Whoa.
The
Can't
baby,
fit into it.
the
Okay.
Is
baby,
he too small?
I've got one
baby
that's too
beyond.
small.
How much does he weigh?
He's £7.
He's a big boy. £7 is big, isn't it? Average.
My thing starts at £8.
You got your dumbbells.
So he needs to get training.
Yeah. Get those weights up, boy.
And he's chewing my
He's chewing your arm. He's like,
chewing.
let's
Oh,
see.
he's having a right. He's kicking off big time, mate. He doesn't realise how privileged he is to be held by Michael like that. I long for those days. Oh, how I miss being swaddled by Mike
So real.
and nursed from his teat.
The good old days.
Not easy to hold in you, right?
Mate, for the boy who's going to save the world, he's making a big fuss.
Yeah.
Him and Jojo are the future of this group of people.
They are, but give it another, like, say, like 3 years, and they'll be ahead of technology compared to us.
Yeah, we'll be going to them. Can you set up this Zoom call for us on the fucking the holographic TV that lowers from the ceiling?
Out of context, this probably looks really bad.
Yeah, it looks like. To be honest, it's almost like we've kidnapped a baby.
He's already more tan than me.
Yeah, is he James? He looks like James.
Yeah.
Have you swapped kids?
Probably.
To be fair, the thing is, your baby will be pale anyway, Michael, because you have got that famous Irish see-through skin that we have.
Cling film.
And Faria's quite light-skinned anyway.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's not a surprise with you, actually, to be fair, James, because your stepbrother and sister are quite light-skinned, aren't they?
They are. They're very light skinned.
Yeah. Your brother's got blue eyes as well, hasn't he?
I think he had blue, they're now green. He's got like
Okay.
hazily green eyes. Yeah. There's just so much of a mix in my family. You just don't know what you're gonna fucking get. You know, each kid.
There's so much different.
It's like a bag of rebels.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it
Put your
is.
hand in, fuck knows what
It's
you're
like,
gonna
did
get.
you remember those lucky dips when you were a kid when you go to like a school fete?
Like,
It's like that, isn't it? Chip in a pound and see what comes out.
Yeah.
Your gene pool is so mixed. I think it's brilliant personally. UKIP don't like it, but you know, fuck them. You're UKIP's nightmare, mate.
Yeah, I am. I'm everything that they hate, and I love it.
You're the spokesman for anti-UKIP. I'll tell you what, boys. If you want some history, we were talking about Crimbo. I have got official scientific proof of the origins of Santa Claus.
Okay,
You guys
Go on.
ready for this?
let's hear it.
So this is genuinely, you can Google this. Santa is a modern counterpart of a shaman who consumed mind-altering plants and fungi to commune with the spirit world. And there's proof to back it up. So the first one is there were these shamans in the Arctic regions like Siberia, Finland, places like that used to dry out these mushrooms. I think they're called fly amanita or fly argic. So they dry them out because otherwise they're poisonous. But then once they were dried out, they produce hallucinogenic properties. So these shaman would then go round to the local villages at winter solstice and leave little parcels of them on people's doorsteps.
Wow.
So that's the idea of where Santa delivering presents comes from. Now the other things to do with the mushrooms. These mushrooms grow underneath pine trees.
Baby.
So pine trees are basically especially Arctic pine trees, are heavily used for Christmas trees. Now, if you imagine the little present under the tree, that's what these mushrooms represented.
Actually,
The
it
other
was a good
thing-
present.
The area was littered with reindeer. Hello, Faria. Oh, rude. Hello.
Okay, good night, Nurse.
Oh, is he going to bed now?
Wait,
Well,
He's trying to kill
he's
himself
going
and
in the
all.
bed direction.
Oh, he's so tiny.
Guys,
Bye.
So yeah, so the other thing is reindeer are heavily prevalent in Arctic regions, right? Now the funny thing about these reindeers is reindeers also consume these hallucinogenic mushrooms. The thing with where the shaman part comes into it is these shaman and the local villagers were so off their nut on these mushrooms on winter solstice, looking at these reindeer, it appeared when they were like doing their little jumps that they do as if they were flying. Thirdly, or fourthly, whatever it is, the shamans basically dressed almost like Santa Claus. On winter solstice, they would dress up in like red tanned garbs with white spots on them before they delivered these presents. The other significant thing is apparently The sleigh part of where Santa has been derived from comes from the idea of the trip that the shaman is taking with these reindeer. The reindeer is seen as a spirit animal back in that culture.
I could actually believe that.
The other thing is, I'm trying to find it here because I've got it written down. Well, first of all, Santa is supposed to be from the North Pole, the Arctic region. That's
Yeah.
another thing that supports it. So we've got a guy that's from the Arctic region. He dresses in red. He delivers little presents to the people at winter time, and he's got these reindeers that fly. There's scientific evidence that shows that these shamans were the origins of Santa, and this idea that it was a Coca-Cola grand marketing scheme is wrong. That was genuinely what people thought.
So where does Saint Nicholas come into it?
So Saint Nicholas, these priests were from the regions of Siberia, Arctic regions, and Germanic regions. So Saint Nick is Saint Nicklaus, who was one of these shaman. Essentially, that's what the belief is. So Nicklaus rather than Nicholas.
Okay.
That also makes sense.
And that is from the website Live Science. So you can guys go and check it out if you want. But what do you guys make of that? Do you think, I mean, I personally think that there is a lot there that you can easily attribute to the idea of a Saint Nicholas or a Santa Claus.
I mean, the idea came from somewhere.
Well, if you think of the name Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas,
Yeah.
Saint
Saint
Niklaus.
Yeah, Klaus. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Because again, a lot of Christian festivals have derivatives from pagan festivals originally. So there is a lot of evidence that supports it.
Yeah.
And I personally would prefer to believe that Santa comes from some shaman that have fucking whacked out their mind on mushrooms
Yes.
than through some sort of actual being.
It's much more believable.
Yeah.
What do you make of that, Mike?
I'll believe it.
Bruno, what do you reckon? You in on that? You feeling
I
it?
believe it as well. Yeah.
What I want to know is
where to get some of these mushrooms?
yeah.
Yeah.
I want some mushrooms.
Don't deliver me an iPad, Santa. Deliver me some fucking mushrooms, please.
Leave me some mushrooms in the living room.
You wake up imagine waking up. Alex goes to run down to open his presents, and it's just a big bag of fucking hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Jesus Christ, could you imagine?
I'm
Mad.
trying to imagine Alex just eating one by mistake. Jesus Christ.
I mean, Amsterdam was bad enough, and that was just a brownie about this big, and I
you
just ate
shouldn't
it.
have given it to Alex, though, should you?
I ate it because I was hungry.
You ate the whole thing.
You know, yeah. I just consumed it all, and wasn't until I read the packet that it said consume in small doses, and I was like, shit. Anyway, didn't think anything of it. The next couple of hours were the weirdest hours of my entire life. I've never felt so strange. So strange. I felt like I was alone. I felt no one was around me, but I was with a lot of people.
I'm all alone.
I couldn't see left or right of me. I had like tunnel vision. Like we were sitting at the bar. I couldn't tell you who was sat next to me.
You were basically Will from The In-Betweeners.
Yeah, basically, I freaked out. And had to tell my wife to take me back to the hostel and to put me to bed. I said, I just want to wake up and I want this all to go away. Seriously, I was that freaked out. I said, Ellen, can you just take me back?
You turn into such a little kid when you're drunk or if you're on weed or something, man.
Oh, wow. Scary though, because you just, when it's your first time experiencing something.
To be fair, if you were on your own, you'd have been fucked. Your organs would have been harvested or something.
You'd still be in Amsterdam by now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that was just off one brownie. You know, stupid. I was just hungry and I just gulped it down. Didn't realise.
Going back to before Michael brought little Zachary in, we were going to tell that story. Do you remember it about the pharmacy, James?
Yes. So where I live, there's a local pharmacy, Amsterdam town. And,
Say the brand of pharmacy, mate. We might get a sponsor.
So I popped in there, and
Pharmacies available.
because it was obviously I've recently only changed my doctor in the last couple of months, but I think furlough and the whole lockdown has just, pushed it forward. Anyway, went in there because I've now sort of rerouted my prescriptions to go to Lloyd's Pharmacy in the town of Ivor.
You shouldn't give out your address.
It's
It's one thing you should do online is give out your address.
It's just Ivor. It's just
Stranger
a town.
danger. There's 6 people that listen to this podcast. One of them might be a maniac. One of them is. He's in prison.
Liam.
He is in prison. And I'm waiting to be kidnapped by Liam. So anyway, walked in, and this woman behind the counter immediately knew that I wasn't
A local
person. And I was sort of like the next in line, and other people are coming in and out of the pharmacy. She's going, "Oh, hello, Jill. Oh, hello, Karen," and talking to all these other people, but by their names. And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay, it's that kind of town." So I've got this. She goes, "Yeah, oh, have you recently moved to the area, have you?" And I went, yeah. I said, "Well, no." I said, "I've been here since last year." I said, "But I've been going to the previous one." I said, "But this is actually closer to my house and whatever. So this would be my usual pharmacy going forward." "Oh, well, it's lovely to see, because I've never seen you before." And it was a bit like, okay, this is a bit strange, but yeah. So I've only gone in there once before, and she's looked at me and didn't know my name. I'm not on that name stage with her just yet. But sort of like waving across. "Oh, hello. Nice to see you again. How are you?" I'm thinking, yeah, well, I'm back here for medication, so I guess I'm okay. Yeah, strange.
Do you know what? She's clearly thinking, "Oh, one of these has moved in, is he?" What is
Definitely.
that message Jay sent? He's clearly able to view our chat without actually being in it.
What is he saying?
He sent a picture. He's not even in the chat.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Where did he get the picture from?
How's he able to view us, but he can't join us? Fuck it.
I don't know. Oh no, I put a picture up of Baby Rain when he
Oh,
came.
that's your picture.
Yeah,
I thought that was Jay sat on his computer watching us.
that would be freaking.
Some sort of Chinese technology. No, I love that story that James told. It's just the way the woman comes out with it, like, "Oh, you're
Yeah.
new."
Haven't
I'm
you
sure
before?
she had perfectly fine intentions. It's just the way it comes out.
It's just really strange, man. For a moment, I felt like I was in the film Hot Fuzz, where everyone knew each other
Yeah.
in that town, and I was like the new guy.
No luck catching them swans then. Just the one swan actually.
Just one, actually.
I'm part of a Facebook group where people just post memes from those, those free films. You've got
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and what's it,
Pause.
the World's End.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They just post memes of that. You have to answer questions before you join it, and one of them is like, "No luck catching them swans then," and obviously you have to put the right thing in. It's fucking brilliant.
That's amazing. Do you know what? Speaking of joining a group on Facebook, I actually tried to join a group,
He joined the Flat Earth Society. I knew it.
and the questions that they were asking me was like, "What is the road that this pub is situated on?" I thought, "I don't bloody know." And I just
Google
moved in.
Google it, James.
I just thought, you know what? I was,
Yeah.
I
I understand it, the privacy behind it. Obviously, they don't want trolls just joining, but it is still a bit like Mean Girls. You can't sit with us,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. Before we move on to, we'll get onto some of the news stories from this week. I've emailed you them, Bruno, so you better be ready. But before we do, I wanted to ask Michael. You've obviously started playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Any other games this year that you've been heavily into?
Not really. Assassin's Creed has been the biggest one.
Would you? You'd recommend it?
Yeah, incredible. Absolutely incredible.
But you're on the PS5, aren't you now? How's that running? mate?
Rocking the PS5. It's good, but I think I'm not really getting the best out of it because I'm now bottlenecked by the fact that my TV probably isn't
Yeah.
going to be getting the best. It's not 4K, so it's not.
Where are you now? Are you in just your room with the office?
Yeah, I'm in the back room.
Have you
It's
thought?
better.
I've basically my setup is basically I've got a curved gaming monitor. I'm going to get a second one as well, but it's 4K ready, and obviously Cyberpunk is 4K. That's the game that I've been smashing out the last few days. It's incredible, visually beautiful. It's basically like, to explain it to James and Bruno, it's like GTA mixed with Blade Runner, that sort of
Sweet.
open world style. But the storyline is fantastic. The characters are, even just on the like little side quests and missions that you do, they're so complex and developed. It's put a lot of work into it. It's had a lot of issues on the older gen consoles, PS4, Xbox One, or whatever it is, with glitches and stuff like that. I'm obviously on PC, so it's a bit. The people that develop the graphics cards and the processors develop special drivers just to have this game run well. And I've not really experienced any issues. I've had a few issues with frame rates dropping, or it's crashed a couple of times, but it's had major issues on PS4 and the Xbox One or whatever it is, because it's not built for those gen at all. It's built for next gen. The problem is Sony and Microsoft have taken it off their stores because it's so buggy. But for it to get on their stores in the first place, it has to be signed off by Sony and Microsoft on like playthroughs on older gens. So the developers of the game, they developed the game The Witcher as well. Mike, you'll know about that. James, Bruno, you'll probably know the TV show.
Yeah, I know the game as well.
CD Projekt is that, but these developers have been getting like death threats from people online because of it being buggy on older gen consoles. But they told their producers and their managers that they need more time to work on it. But they were under pressure from the console companies to have it out for Christmas when it isn't ready. You have this with modern games, especially these days. They're never ready for the time that they come out. Within a year, half a year, or a year, they've released enough patches to get it working as it should be. But it clearly isn't ready for these consoles. But these guys getting the hate, and these people getting their refunds from the companies, and the games getting taken off the stores, is toxic, because the people that have signed off it in the first place, put the pressure to get the game out, are the people that produce the consoles. And they're the ones that have then turned around and said, this is shit, what are you doing? But they've played it on these older gens and seen all these bugs and issues, but still said, yeah, push it out. So that's the maddest thing about it. But that aside, as a PC gamer, it's been fucking fantastic. So if you get it on the PS5, mate, it'll work absolutely perfectly. But it is visually, it's beautiful. Like I say, the storyline's fantastic. The gameplay's brilliant. I guess Valhalla is the next one that I'm going to get into. So again,
it looks really. The Cyberpunk looks really good.
Oh mate, honestly, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's the sort of game you'd love. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, the only things I really play are like role playing games. It's like a.
Yeah, you love a bit of role play.
I mean, but again, you do like a sort of a game with a solo mission every now and again, don't you?
Like Fallout games, love those. Witcher was really good.
Yeah. Skyrim, that was massively brilliant.
Yeah, all the Elder Scrolls really.
That was really good.
But no, Assassin's Creed is incredible.
I'm thinking about buying it as well.
What, the PlayStation 5?
No, the game.
Which one? We've just said two.
No, the Assassin's Creed.
My only issue with it is what I said to you, Michael, over text. It's about Vikings coming to England and invading. The Vikings came here, raped, pillaged, murdered, burnt. They're portrayed as the heroes in this game. That's the issue I have with it. Now, don't get me wrong. The British have a history, like throughout history, have been the scumbags. But at that particular time, they were not. It's like if they released a game in Ireland where Britain came over and invaded and portrayed Britain as the heroes, it would not be received well.
No.
But there is this thing, even still within Hollywood and game development, where British people are the villains, even when they're the ones being invaded. That's the only bugbear I had with it. I don't have this idea of Britishness and shit like that. I don't identify with that sort of ethos, but it's got to be historically accurate to pique my interest. But it is the sort of game I like. I liked the previous ones, so I will probably try and get into it. And if Michael says it's good, then I'll give it a go.
But ironically, there's hardly any English people in it.
Yeah.
It's like the
Picts or whatever the
it's
Scots.
guys from Norway, and then they're basically fighting Danes all the
Yeah.
time. I was like, where are the English people?
Yeah, they've gone to a barren land, a fruitful yet barren land.
Yeah, there's a little bit of artistic license in there. I mean, but it's
Well, they did that, didn't they? Do one in Victorian London?
yeah.
They've got all. They basically have Jack the Ripper in it. They put Sherlock Holmes in it, a fictional character, in what a game that claims to be historically have some sort of historical accuracy. The Queen's in it, Queen Victoria. That's where I think I lost a bit of respect for the developers when they produced that one. To be honest with you,
It's still good though.
yeah, there's no denying. I mean, I remember the original. The original was like groundbreaking. It was so different. Like the idea of it with the transition from, we've probably lost James, maybe Bruno a bit here, but the idea of plugging this guy from the modern world into a machine and he can then go back and portray, like see his ancestors, thoughts and feelings and life was incredible. And even the way they transitioned to modern day with it as well. So you play part of it as who was the first guy? I can't remember his name, but you play as his first ancestor, basically. Well, not first ancestor, one of them, who was an assassin for a large part of it, and then it would get to the part where you'd play as the guy. I think his name was Desmond. In the modern day, and he was basically brought in by this private company with nefarious ideas, and then he didn't realize that, but as the game progressed, he'd realized that they had their own personal interests, and these Knights Templar were still about, and he was working for the bad guys. So then he's trying to derail them whilst trying to see what his ancestor did to derail them back then. Do you know what I mean? It's a very complex storyline, to be fair. It'd take us ages to describe it.
The latest one is, Valhalla is essentially Assassin's Creed by name only.
Yeah.
It's got like some of the mechanics in there, but I think I'm like 70 hours in, and like there's been one, like in the first Assassin's Creed games, there was two defined like story arcs.
Yeah, exactly.
You had Desmond, and then you had the guy, I forget his name, from the actual assassin that you kept playing. And then in Valhalla, you've got essentially there's been one cutaway scene for when they come out of the machine, and they're in a random like hut in the country, completely.
It's
completely
mad.
Left field.
But it is.
And
but do you know what?
They
struck a gold mine, because when the first one came out, it was incredible. The second one was brilliant. The third one was brilliant. I remember that guy's name, Ezio. It went a bit off for a good couple of years. It wasn't that popular, but it's one of the most popular games out there, and it's on its probably like 8th or 9th, 10th remake in a different place. It is an incredibly well-selling game. It cost them a lot to develop, but it's incredibly well-selling game. People love the idea of it. It's got its own movie, with Michael Fassbender.
There was a film about it, isn't there?
So you can see how far this has become. This has come from its original ideas. But yeah, there we go. That was a little bit about gaming. There might be people interested in that. There's two of us here that could sit here all day talking about that. Maybe we'll start our own podcast about games.
Gaming.
But Bruno, you've got some news for us.
Yeah, I found a few things. Wait, let me just open this just to make sure that everything is here. Okie dokie. Here we go. So, guys, if you're worried about coronavirus, World Health Organization came out warning that super gonorrhea is on the rise. I'm not sure exactly. If you think 2020 was shit, super gonorrhea is on the way.
Gonorrhea.
Yeah,
Jesus.
apparently.
The funny thing about that story, I sent you another one. I don't know if you've got it open, but there's this guy called, I think he's called an epidemiologist or something like that.
Yeah.
Who predicts the fallout of an epidemic. Basically, they've predicted something called the Roaring 2020s, where he thinks it's just going to be like sex mania. And I tell you what, if it is,
well,
I'm in.
You're in.
Not really a bad thing, is it? I mean,
I've already said that if Michael's recommended a game to me, I'm going to play it. If he recommends Fatherhood to me, then I'll go out and, shove some babies up people.
Get involved.
and get some super gonorrhea. I don't think.
Oh no, I'll avoid the super gonorrhea. But there is a problem with it though, because doesn't it say in that article, Bruno, that and it's becoming immune to antibiotics?
Yeah, because of the overuse of
Because the overuse of
antibiotics.
antibiotics in day-to-day life means that this like strain of gonorrhea is becoming immune to antibiotics. So it is a fucking problem.
I assume this is gonna be interesting. Shit.
Between that and Super Corona,
Man,
What's that,
I
Mike? Sorry?
came across one.
between that and Super Corona, we're gonna have real problems.
Yeah, I know.
Super corona, super gonorrhea.
People just need to accept the fact that this is nature trying to cull the human race for the damages we're doing. And one of the articles, I don't know if Bruno's brought up, is proof of it. It's a bit of a sad one, but there's this skin disease that's becoming prevalent in dolphins, especially bottleneck dolphins, which is an endangered species of dolphins, which basically takes over like 70% of their skin, covers it in sores, blisters, all sorts, and it ends up killing them. And it's directly linked to climate change. They
I saw
like
that one.
studies have proved that climate change is causing this fucking skin disease.
Now, I found another one. Well,
On to lighter news.
Let's go to lighter news.
It's quite sad.
KFC launches a gaming console more
This is the
powerful
best thing
than
I've
the
seen.
PS5 with a
Yeah, I saw
built-in
this.
chicken
It's not
warmer.
more powerful. It's not more powerful, but
Just
it is
bullshit.
legit. It's legit. It's
Is
legit.
it really?
They've got their own Twitter. It is legit. It is 4K ready. It can run games at 240 FPS,
And it has a
and
chicken
it has a little
heater.
section where you can heat your chicken. So if you buy a KFC, you can keep it heated inside your console. It's legit. It's in the shape of a bucket.
Yeah,
I thought this was fake as well because 6 months ago they announced it and people thought it was fake then, but they just brought out another like trailer for it. It's fucking legit.
wait, it's
Why
actually
would you
really
keep your
cool.
chicken in there?
I don't know.
Just eat it.
They've teamed
Why
up
not?
with what is it? What is the brand name? Cool Masters or something?
Oh, the
basically
fan,
producing
PC
it.
fans.
Yeah, yeah. It's legit. It's got a little fucking tray to Who look honestly? You get a games
insane.
console. Who's ever looked at their game console and imagine you've got your games console, you're eating fried chicken.
Chicken.
Have you ever looked at both of them and gone, there's something here? I can do something to link both of these. This PS4 needs somewhere for me to store my chicken, but not just store it, keep it warm.
That's
How greasy that is going to be. The amount of
I
grease
imagine
it's
they've
gonna
put
be.
something in place that prevents the internal motherboard and system actually getting any of the grease or the stuff on it. How they could do that means that these guys have developed technology that Sony and Microsoft are not capable of. But
They just swapped out the disc drive. for a
exactly, no,
grease
there's a
trap.
disk drive in it. There's a disk drive in it.
Oh, of course.
this shit.
So essentially, you're playing your games on a microwave.
Now imagine this though. Imagine this. Imagine if the console's actually good. Imagine if it is as good as the Sony
If it's good, and if
PlayStation
it's-
5, especially
and
and
if
the
it's-
Xbox Series X.
and if it's actually pretty decent cost wise.
Well, I imagine they would probably make this quite cost effective, because if you think they're probably going to want to target people that low income families,
afford,
potentially,
yeah.
that can't afford the
PlayStation.
other consoles.
So your
I imagine-
PlayStation is what in the between say £450 and £600 range.
Yeah,
Your Xbox Series X
around the
that's-
same.
That's around the same.
So
if they
again,
come in
Nintendo,
at
they're
about,
around the
say,
same.
£200 range.
Yeah,
They're going to be hitting. a lot of
but
people,
even if they
especially
put it as 300, that's still cheaper than the alternatives. And the gimmick of it
now.
would be what drew people in. The gimmick of it would draw some people in. If those people then start putting it out there that the console is actually good, and it is actually good, that then drums up further sales.
It would be good if you have the console. You get 50%.
Sorry, the
off.
console,
The what? Who are we
the
consoling?
console. Who are we consoling?
The console. You get 50% off your orders at KFC for like a year or something.
What would be good if it had some sort of Alexa system built in so that you could talk to it and order KFC?
And then it gets delivered to your door, and then you put it straight into
Yeah.
its heater. Oh, mate.
Honestly,
what,
Bruno, I
guys?
don't know if you can
I'm
share your
sold.
screen to show the images.
I'm so
Bruno's going to share the images on the screen Honestly, it's in the shape of a bucket. It's not. It would be even better if it was actually designed as a KFC bucket. It's not. It's like all black. It actually doesn't look that bad. It's when they incorporate the chicken drawer that it's gone crazy. They've got an official Twitter called
cannot.
KFC Gaming.
I cannot. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
I've just said.
Oh,
I've just
wow,
changed
look
it.
at
I've just changed it. You can share it.
There we go, Bruce.
Okay.
This is honestly. When I heard it on another podcast, I was like, that can't be real. It's legit.
This looks pretty good.
Have you found it, Mike? It does look
Yes.
all right, doesn't it?
That's not bad.
Aesthetically,
Wait.
at first glance, you think this looks ridiculous, but really,
What's
it's
it
actually
called?
it looks all right.
KFC.
That looks better than the new Xbox.
It's called the KF console.
And it's small.
It's called the KF console, so it's got KFC console basically. Are you able to share, Bruno?
Oh my god, that looks
Give
so
me a
cool.
second.
The drawer that comes out, yeah.
So Bruno's going to bring it up so we can all see it because I've not got it up.
I'm trying
Well,
to.
To be fair, you can
because-
only get like 2 pieces of chicken in there.
I love the tagline. 99.9% of rage quitting is caused by being hungry.
I imagine there is a certain sector of gamers that they're deliberately targeting with this.
Yeah.
People that don't want to get up and go and answer the door to some guy delivering KFC.
Can you guys see anything?
Yeah, it's come up for me.
Yeah.
Look at that. It doesn't look that bad, does it? It does look a bit like a rice cooker.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I
look,
mean,
when
it
you-
looks like something that belongs in the kitchen.
yeah, but look at this part.
That's not even real KFC chicken, I'm telling you.
That's the spicy chicken.
The spicy wings.
So what I want to know is the
not
cost.
two wings is not going to be enough.
So it's
Yeah.
it's still in the concept stage, James. They're still developing it, so they haven't got any sort of thing. Cost is something that come like right at the end after
Right at the end
development
of
and
it,
things
yeah.
like that. Prototypes have come out.
Look, it doesn't look that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Is there
but
official Twitter on this page, James Bruno?
No.
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 I tell you what. Whilst we're speaking about KFC, in Japan, do you know what they do on Christmas dinner? It says it there. They eat KFC.
KFC, yeah.
It's
yeah.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
They have like a whole Christmas menu and everything in Japan for KFC.
Well, I know where I'm going next year.
Yeah, mate, you'd love it. It's sick.
Okay, let me see.
Got some more news for us, Bruno. Come on.
Well,
We're getting
this is-
antsy. Hurry up.
This is a disgusting one. So apparently,
Perfect.
a vet was
yeah.
trying to solve an elephant's constipation problem, and literally he fucking.
Oh, you've got
exploded
to
on
share
her-
your
on
screen.
her
You've got to share your
face,
screen for that
man.
one because the video is a slow-mo video.
Oh man, I haven't opened the video, but let me.
I think I've seen this,
Yeah.
and it just comes out everywhere.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
There's probably adverts on this, but I'll edit them out.
This is incredible.
Let's see what happens here.
Here we go. Have a look at this, boys.
Oh my
I
god.
love that they've put it in slow-mo as well.
Look
at that.
Oh,
God.
Jesus.
Oh my god, it's like a fucking dam breaking. It's like, do you know?
Oh.
Have you guys know that scene in the Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers
Yeah.
where the Ents break down the dam and the
Oh.
river comes flooding down? It's like that. But this guy's smiling at the end.
Yeah, because
That's
he didn't
fucked.
take it in the face.
But do you
man.
know what? They actually have to do that because that can get so bad. If any longer, that elephant would have genuinely died because of the constipation. It gets
Oh,
that bad.
what was that all like back top poo? That
Yeah, it's
the person
constipation. Yeah.
initially pulled out of it.
Yeah, that was poo. A big
Oh,
chunk of poo. Saw the size of it.
Jesus.
So
The
that,
size of banjo coming out of it.
It's probably bigger than him.
wait, let's double check again.
Look at Bruno doing his research, a little slut.
Here we go.
Look at you all worried about a pandemic.
She's pulling out the.
Oh,
The size of that.
look straight in the face.
The thing is, that grass looks intact. I wouldn't be surprised if that elephant snozzed it back up.
Oh my goodness.
It's the guy smiling at the end in the Real Madrid shirt. He's fucking gassed. He's got a face full of fucking liquid elephant shit, and he's smiling.
Guy.
Do you know what? Whenever you think you're having a bad day,
That's in Samui in Thailand, Bruno. James.
oh really?
Yeah, Chiang Mai.
Jesus.
So what? When you think you're having a bad day, think about this.
Yeah, at least you haven't got a
Yeah,
face full of
whenever you
elephant
think
shit.
that
To be
you're
fair,
having a bad
Michael will probably get a face full of baby shit at some point. But imagine how much worse it could be, Michael. That's what we're telling you.
Now, going on to a different one. For the second time, the Instagram account of Pope Francis was caught liking another model's picture.
I don't know if you guys know this. He was caught. His official Instagram page about a month ago, a few weeks ago, was caught liking this Brazilian model's picture on Facebook. She was dressed in like a skimpy schoolgirl outfit. I don't think the account is run by him, obviously, but he was caught liking it. Now, there is a suggestion it could easily be photoshopped, but this other model has got a screen grab showing that he's liked her picture and all.
Yeah,
Shows that
this one.
He's
this
a
one
dirty
even
dog like
says-
all of us.
This one shared it on Twitter, and she says, "Well, at least I'm going to heaven."
Yeah.
I have the last two ones. This one, apparently, it's confirmed that on the U.S. elections, there's at least a case. They were able to find a case of a dead person that voted on Trump. A person that's already dead
One
that
person.
actually voted for him.
Have you seen what a fuss he's been kicking up, guys? I don't know if
No.
you've been in touch
No.
much with it. There was a news correspondent for the White House that suggested he brought up the question of whether he could use martial law to prevent the election results coming to fruition. A couple days later, one of his spokesmen came out and said he threw a fucking hissy fit about having to leave the White House. He is not going to go peacefully. Telling you.
That we already know for a long time.
Right.
Yep. Well, so the the next and last news segment is this one: the naked man wearing a giant panda mask, rollerblading across the highway. So this is interesting. If you guys want to watch
That's how I've gone through this whiskey.
the clip,
Jameson's whiskey, delicious.
this guy was caught in France
Dangerous.
doing this,
No way.
literally in the motorway.
How was he going that fast on roller skates? Are they electric?
Look at this.
Must be downhill, surely. Because he's maintaining that.
Mate, his life must have gone downhill for him to be in that fucking situation.
Dude, does he have a golf? It looks like he has
I think it's a
Oh no, a camera, a GoPro, maybe.
He's going uphill there. He's got power. He's got power there.
Wait, who's got a GoPro? The guy with the roller skates?
Yeah, he has it in front of him. and
Oh, he's doing this for TikTok or something, isn't he?
Jesus, TikTok. Why would you do this shit for TikTok, man?
All right, you can
He falls
unshare.
over. He's going to get his dick knocked.
it's a selfie stick. It said it there on the
If he comes off those, his ass is gone.
Yeah,
I know.
he's fucked.
He's going at least. what,
That's all
40?
downhill as well.
Absolutely
Like
no
you said.
protection.
Just say if he
Not
went
just his
hurt
arse. He's
really
losing.
bad.
One of his scrotes is gone.
Oh yeah. So just
At least
just
one.
imagine if he hurt himself really bad, right? And then the ambulance came and got him, and they asked him, right, so can you tell us what happened? Well, I was wearing a pants.
Tell you, I can show you.
And I was coming down fully naked, and I fell over and ended up scratching my entire body and breaking limbs. Okay, so you weren't in a car accident? No. I just voluntarily put fucking rollerblades on and held my camera. 'cause
The
I
problem
didn't
is,
want to drown.
I couldn't see that well because I was wearing a panda hat, so my vision was obscured, and I was going down the hard shoulder of the motorway.
The
He
things that
comes,
people do-
he comes off that. He's getting more than a scratch.
Yeah,
He's tearing his arsehole off.
Yeah.
Opening it.
Oh, but it's
Yeah.
so worth it because
he's left his balls uphill.
What a guy, legend.
Yeah, fair
We
play.
need
to
his
him.
name. We need his name.
Yeah, each to their own. Jean-Claude something.
Yeah, we've all got to get around town. We've all got things to do.
Imagine just
Listen,
doing-
he's
going
just
to
on. He's got. Do you know what? Last minute Christmas shopping. Everywhere's locking down. He's got to get there quick. He's in the middle of a very very, specialized fetish party, and he's
Yeah.
just realized the time and he needs to get his Christmas shopping done ASAP. The only mode of transport he can find at this fetish party in someone's house is a pair of rollerblades. He's just gone.
And he doesn't have
Fair
time
play
to
to him.
get dressed
And I dare any man to tell me they've not been in a very similar situation.
without the
And also,
rollerblades.
how do you get around government rules and regulations?
Yeah,
Become a panda.
grease yourself up and get on your rollerblades, son.
Become a panda.
Yeah,
Embrace it.
endangered species protected by the World Wildlife Foundation.
What does it say about pandas, guys?
Yeah,
Cheers.
so everyone film this. They're beating up the guy being beaten up is like, everyone get your cameras. They're beating up a panda.
Protected
Yeah, they're
species.
beating up that panda who can also speak and wears rollerblades.
But get
No,
some
not
panda.
ordinary panda. That's a super panda.
Super panda.
So, anyone who's listening, Mike and James have to leave soon. So I'm going to end it with a few questions. Hopefully, won't take too long. Firstly, James, what's your favourite memory of Christmas, or favourite Christmas memory that you have off the top of your head? I know it's difficult to think. But
I would say pigs and blankets and being so full that I can't move from the couch.
you love that on a daily basis. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
That feeling, anyway, not pigs and blankets. but-
Best feeling.
What about you, Mike?
It's got to be seeing my number one dog, Ringo,
Oh, mate,
and
how is he?
the absolute fetish for wrapping paper. Anything.
That dog is a fetish for anything that's sort of in that blanket shape.
He'll go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that and just being with family, I suppose.
Yeah,
The
Bruno.
Christmas morning, when I was really young, Christmas mornings were like the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Yeah.
remember that? Do you remember that feeling Christmas morning?
Not being able to sleep, and then the excitement of knowing that you've slept because you woke up and you look at the clock
Yeah.
and it's like a half decent hour.
The worst thing is when whilst you're massively excited and in your head you're like, oh, I don't want to go to sleep. In your head you're also like, I do want to go to sleep, but you can't because you're in that perpetual state of excitement. That's an incredible feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my is definitely that one. Opening the Christmas gifts in the morning.
Was it
And also-
was it mushrooms delivered by Shaman?
Yeah,
Because you
a
were
lot.
you were alive back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually it was. I was off my nut every
Black and white.
Christmas. And also, and also being in my grandma's house with all the food and all the sweets that she used to make. So those
Bruno,
are-
Panda, show everyone your jumper quickly. We've seen everyone else's at Christmassy. We can't really see yours
Mine?
yet that much. That's
Oh,
his
yes.
T-shirt, his Christmas T-shirt. There you go, everyone.
Star Wars.
Stormtroopers.
All right, next question, lads. Have you learned anything new this year? James, we'll go to you again first.
Yes. And it's that family comes first. In simple terms, really.
You've only just learned that.
On a daily basis.
It's taken
right?
him 28 years.
On
Because I
a
reminded
daily
you-
It's
basis.
taken him 28 years to realise he's not the centre of the universe.
You just realised
You
that
have-
after
you have
told
a
him we
lot
should
of
probably
things.
come off this call to go
You
and take to our kids.
You have a
He's
lot
like,
of things that
oh,
like go through.
Oh shit, I've got kids.
Like you're worried about being
Yeah.
late for work. You're worried about sort of your performance at work. Work primarily takes over your life,
Yeah,
and eventually, sort of like your house and your family are sort of like the afterthought.
yeah.
And it does happen, you know.
It can be dangerous, and there is a lot of people that you
Yeah.
can see out there that have become so career oriented
yeah.
that let that side of it fall away. I fully agree with you,
So
and I
this
side it
year-
with additionally. Sorry to interrupt, but additionally, you guys that are my friends and all the other guys that are our close friends are part of our families as well, and friends of the family that you choose for yourself. I love that saying. So
Definitely.
this year, as shit as it been, has helped so many people realize and probably appreciate the people that they love the most, even
That's
more
it.
than they did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can take it for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
And so being furloughed for like say 4.5 months this year, and the opportunity to work from home and everything, it's just made me realise,
Yeah.
what, like I can't control what's happening in the world. I can't control this virus. I can't control decisions that get made, but the only thing I can control is what happens in my household and the
Well, that's
people
what,
in it.
yeah,
So-
that's something I actually said to Ellen in a text. Obviously, me and Ellen were talking about Harry Potter and that. We got into the topic of work, and I said what helped me realize again this year helped it as well is how I shouldn't worry so much about work. Is
Yeah.
again a saying I heard a few years ago. You shouldn't worry about the things that you can't change.
Absolutely.
If there is something that you feel like you can change, however small, worry about it, but change it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, again, going back to you being on furlough, me and you started talking a lot more than we used to. Not that we didn't speak a lot before, but even more so.
It's just
Yeah.
life gets in the way, especially
Exactly.
work.
Like you say,
So
work
I've
and
got-
everything else in life gets in the way, but something like that has enabled me and you to just talk again. Not again, but even more than we did. Send
Yeah,
stupid
yeah.
memes to each other because you find that 5 minutes where you stupidly you couldn't find that 5 minutes before, even though you probably could have. You weren't looking for it.
Yeah.
But now it's there, so you use it.
You
Do you know
start
what I mean?
valuing. You start valuing other things
Yeah.
as well, smaller things. That's what I think this year actually taught me.
Yeah.
You know that it's value things much more than work and money. Actually, value your friends, value your family, because at the end of the day, without them, even if you have money or everything else, life is not worth it without your friends and without your family.
But the problem is where the money side comes into it is when you don't have money, and there is going to be potential of those times throughout all of our lives, everyone here, where we will be in a shit fucking position financially. The thing that is there are your friends and family.
But that's true. Look, I'll give you my example this year. I was 4.5 months without getting paid. The thing that actually got me through all this was having, you guys and
It was me, wasn't it?
Ginge.
Me individually, solely me,
Yeah, mainly you individually.
only me.
But like I remember, like for example, James. Every time I go to Tesco, I see him in Tesco. So
He
Oh,
does.
it's
He does say that all the
it's
time.
So weird.
He says that all the
Every
time.
time, and I'm pretty sure it's the last 3 times in a row
yes.
where you always bump into Ginge and Bruno.
The thing
Every
is,
Sunday.
Bruno's in there every day waiting for you to
That's
see
what
if
I
you
think
show
he
up.
is. He just
Yeah.
goes round the aisles. He never leaves Tesco.
Well, he does.
no,
He goes there to buy his cigarettes.
I just go to the top and I'm constantly looking. Where's
Right,
that
you
guy?
are
Where's that guy?
Tesco's CCTV man,
Yeah, I am.
but you're only looking out for me.
Yeah, of course. Come on, my little
All
brown
right.
sugar.
Anyway, what about you, Michael? Aside from all the things that we just said that are applicable to all of us, have you learned anything new this year aside from that?
Yeah, I think I've learned that we are all. I've discovered that like mental health.
Yeah.
Really important. I've always, you probably know that I probably don't really show that side of myself. And I probably thought I was immortal, and my mental health was completely fine. And it was until I got rid of. Well, I think I lost Otto, my puppy, back in like November, and then COVID hit. And looking back on it now, I knew that I was probably in like the early stages of potential depression, and it was all I can describe it as is like numb. Like it's not, you don't feel, and it made me kind of see. It gave me perspective on life and what's important. And I think up until now, I've probably been coasting along and taking things for granted. So I think 2020 was a big year.
That's actually a
To
main
speak,
thing.
sorry to before you speak, Bruno, but to speak as someone whose family has been directly affected by the outcome of depression, and as someone I've been through the stage of depression myself in some very dark places, and I couldn't tell you now if I'm out of it or not, but I'm definitely in a much more positive place than I was a year ago or 2 years ago. And that comes through realizing what is actually important. And it's what I've always said to people, especially I talk about other people in my family that have gone through those situations. I'm not going to bring it up because it's their story to tell, but it's what I've said to them. The only people that can get you out of it is you. Everyone can sit here and give you advice, and people that have gone through it, had it, seen it, they can tell you their experiences, but your experience of that is individual. It's not transferable. Whilst it's similar, you can talk about the same things, it's still your thing because it's you in your head. And the only thing that can get you out of it is yourself. And it's one of the reasons why I really love doing this podcast, is because it gives me a creative outlet to show things and put things out there and talk about subjects that I want to talk about. And me and Bruno have got plans to talk about a lot more complex subjects. You guys know about my family history and things to do with my dad, which I'm not ashamed to talk about. But things like that play a heavy toll, and seeing that is basically the outcome. What happened to him is the outcome of depression, as far as I see it. And
Yeah.
I never want to be in that state. So when I see myself going down a certain road in terms of thoughts and feelings, take a direct action to change it. And it can only be you that does. So like you've said, it was you that realised it. It was you that decided to take action. And as dark as this year has been, it's what I said at the start of the podcast.
I consider
there is a
myself
light.
Yeah, I consider myself lucky because I didn't realise it until probably literally the birth of my son. Because
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was missing. Because when I went out to take, the story about Otto, and then being really allergic to him and having to give him away, looking at him on that Saturday morning in November 2019, and knowing that it was me that it was my problem, and that's the reason why I couldn't have the puppy that I wanted since forever. Some people wanted nice cars and stuff. I wanted my puppy. So to give that little guy away,
It's something that
broke
we've
my
always...
heart. But I didn't know
Yeah.
at the time. I just felt numb. So it was like nothing was exciting, nothing was sad, nothing was anything. Everything was just no reaction to it, and I just kind of coasted along, and I kind of recovered. But then, until when I saw my boy, I was like, "That's."
It's crazy how
missing something.
it's crazy how things affect you, and something like that might seem so minuscule to people that don't know you, but it's huge. Me and you, Michael, we've known each other since the first day of year 7, when we were 11 years old. And we've always spoken of our love for animals and dogs, especially, and how much what we want them like this. And again, similar to the Otter stories, me having Banjo has been such an emotional crutch for me for so long, because knowing that I've got him, and every day I come home to the most wonderful reception, the happiness that ensues from it, every fucking shit that I've had, every piece of shit that I've had throughout that day is gone.
It makes you forget about it.
Yeah.
It
And
literally makes you forget.
it's that wonderful feeling of love. And it is love, let's be fair, love from friends, family, an animal, whatever.
It's unconditional love.
It's unconditional.
That's the thing about animals.
And it's an incredible thing, but there is wonderful things that can help you get over stuff. You've got through that yourself. No one could tell you. I could see it on your face whenever we spoke about it. And I know I deliberately asked you to try and get you to talk about it, because I knew that you weren't talking about it. And then maybe you thought I was a bit of a prick for doing it, but it was because I was deliberately... The best way you can get through it, talk about it, share emotion. And this is a huge thing that I want to share with any young men out there listening that have been going through tough times mentally. And because we are conditioned and told to what men should be. Men shouldn't show emotion. Men should be strong, breadwinners. It is okay to show your emotions and to share what fucking shit is going on in your head and your heart. It's okay to show vulnerability. And that's what this year should show people even more. You're not the only one going through it. Whilst your experience is individual, it's okay to show that sign of weakness and to reach out to people.
Yeah, it is. But another thing that you need to do if you're in a state of depression or something, you cannot be forced by anyone to talk about it. It needs to come from you. You need to be the one reaching out.
Yeah.
Because if it's someone else trying to go to you, you will always put yourself behind that wall and you will never say anything. It has to come from you. And
but it's fine. It's fine to see that in someone. It's fine to show them that you're receptive of it. Those people need to see that as well, because they're never going to share it if they don't see that there's paths for them to go down, that they can show it.
So sometimes it's not even the fact that you need to talk about it,
no,
or someone needs to give you advice or anything like that. Even just a person just sitting in the same room as you, just being there as company is enough.
Do you know what, James? I couldn't have put it better. And you've been there for those times with me where all I actually needed was someone just to sit there.
And that's it. And you don't even have to say anything to that person. They might just come out with something, or they might not. But your intention shouldn't be let's get it out of you. It should just be, do you know what? I'm here for you, and it doesn't matter what's going in your head. I'm still sat beside you, and I always will be. And just that comfort in knowing that someone is there for you.
So we don't want to get too emotional, but I really enjoy talking about this subject, and we are going to do a special podcast about mental health and suicide and stuff. And I'd love to get you guys back on for that.
Absolutely.
But every single person sat in this Zoom call right now has been there with each other when we've been in those states. Every single one of us. We've seen each other at our worst. And to know that each one of us still loves the other should show if we ever get in that place again, that look at the support system we have. How good a support system do we have? We are so lucky and privileged to have the support system we have, where a lot of people don't. And I love that about all of my friends, especially you guys. But let's move on to some final questions so I can let you guys go. So we've talked about what you've learned this year. Is there anything from this year, aside from the obvious, that you just love to just leave in 2020? Just leave it in 2020. It doesn't follow you.
Any baggage that we can leave?
Baggage, anything, yeah.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Oh, I hit that question out of nowhere, isn't it?
I think it's
just anything,
really,
or even something you wish you could have done.
I don't. To be honest, I don't know, mate. I don't regret much of what I did.
You should.
Yeah.
You probably should, Bruno.
If
anyone should.
This year I couldn't get out of the house to do the usual.
If anyone should regret their actions.
No, but to be honest,
had more holidays this year than anyone I've known.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This year, it was a shit year because of COVID. But at the end of the day, look, I met a wonderful woman. I got married. I don't have any regrets from this year, even though it was a shit year regarding health and everything else.
Personally, you have no regrets. That's good. That's good. What about you? Michael, we'll go to you first. What about you? Same or? This is sorry before you start, but this is where this year's been mental. It's because you guys have been given like one of the greatest things ever, but it's been such a shit year. Do you know what I mean? But
it compensates. It compensates because
go on, Mike. Go on,
wonderful kids.
Well, I think for me, probably focus too much on work. I think that's how I try to. I know a lot of people got furloughed and things, but the one thing I was focusing on was work and taking on more and more and more. And
which, for the long run, is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's paid off, but I would have liked to have done something else.
Yeah, same.
Taken up another skill. Because the thing is, you couldn't go and see anyone. You couldn't spend time with anyone. So something personal. Learn something else.
So that's a bit I forgot to say. I was meant to say what I'd learned this year. So we started this podcast this year. I think back in February, maybe February, yeah. But a skill that I learned was video editing. Adobe After Effects is something that I learned. I was quite good at Photoshop already, but I'm even better now at Photoshop. I've learned these skills through being in this situation where we can't go out and do anything. I wanted to do this project and see what we could do with it, and because of that, it's led me to develop the necessary skills to actually do it properly. Do you know what I mean? So that was one of the things that I learned. But again, going back to the point of leaving something this year, similar to you, Mike, I spent so much time concentrating on work, and without getting to, I won't get into the specifics whilst we're recording, but it has progressed into a very good situation for myself. But in the long run, it works out well. But there are probably things in the short term that I could have done more or I've missed out on because of that. But ending it on a high note, what are your hopes for the upcoming year, James?
Hopes for the upcoming year. So without mentioning the obvious, it's to just.
It can be that, by the way. It doesn't. You don't have to.
That's just like a general thing. But personally, for me and sort of my wife and my two kids, it would just be sort of focusing on more like family orientated like activities, really, and just being more in the present. I mean, that has been 2020 because the furlough and working from home, so I have been more here, and it has made me realise that. So going forward, I'd like to continue that.
Yeah.
Not just because of this pandemic and that
Yeah.
I've been forced to be in my
The
house.
pandemic shouldn't be an excuse. Yeah.
Yeah, but just actually sort of like incorporate that into my life and think, you know what, whatever goes on outside these four walls is not my concern. I can't change that, but I can change what happens within this house, and sort of just focusing on just family, really. So not something new, but something that I would like to continue doing.
So
And,
that was one thing for me this year. Do you when we met up for your birthday after lockdown,
oh yeah,
when you asked me to be godfather? Honestly,
oh yeah,
I don't know why. I felt so emotional. I nearly cried.
yeah. I could see it.
And I'm around the table with James, Jay, Amanda, his family, her family. I'm like, I can't sit here and cry, man. It's going to make me look stupid because we just said it as a hushed tone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I felt so emotional. It meant genuinely
I
just,
wanted to ask
it's just
you,
something that
I didn't
meant so
know-
much.
I didn't know when to ask you,
Yeah.
so we started off at the
You just hit it,
restaurant,
you just
and we went to
out
the
of nowhere,
house,
like John Cena.
and then we just and then
Oh
we-
my God.
and then we went to the pub, and it was after we had a drink together. And we were just
Yeah,
sitting
we'd had a
there,
few
and
beers,
it just came out naturally, and yeah, that's it.
Mike, what about you? What hopes for next year?
Normality.
Sorry?
On normality. I'm looking forward to getting back to, obviously, because, I work in retail.
I genuinely can't wait to see all of you guys in the flesh. Just hug,
I think it's
have a little fight.
Little
the one
cuddle.
positive from COVID. It's made me appreciate my friends more than.
I'd like to do this more. If we just not just jump on a podcast and you guys do it, but just like these little Zoom calls or whatever. Whilst we're in
These
this
are cool.
situation we're in, yeah.
Yeah,
Whilst we're in the situation we're in, to do this a little bit more would be great.
yeah.
I'm always available on it if you guys ever want to.
Definitely. I think we should do like a weekly sort of check in to see how everyone's doing. Just talk a lot of shit, get things off our chest, and just have a general catch up.
Again, the positive impact that will have on everyone's mental health as well, without us even knowing it, without us even knowing the positive impact it has on our own mental health.
Yeah.
That's the thing. For example, me and Michael, we actually see each other sometimes because we go for walks. We take Banjo out, so we actually spend some time outside, and sometimes we have a drink here or there. But
that's easy for us. We live quite close. So.
We live really close, yeah.
But even this sort of thing is great, and honestly, I'm so appreciative of you guys joining us for this Christmas special, because I wanted it to be a few of us. Not that it would be a problem, just me and Bruno, but especially having you guys here and showing your support for it is brilliant. Liam showing his support; he's constantly posting about it all over his social media, and he's got his Etsy shop social media, and it's a genuine support. I know Faria listens to it. I know Ellen's listened to a couple, Caitlin listens to it, Lewis listens to it, Liam's listening to every episode, and it might not go anywhere, but the reason I like doing it is that creative outlet. You can get out there and just talk shit. Try and do something that we think is funny. If people see that you're enjoying it something and you're actually invested in it and you enjoy what you're doing, it makes it more enjoyable for other people.
Absolutely.
That's true. And we started this in a different format than what we're doing.
Yeah.
We started it in a very drunk format.
We should speak a little bit about sports a bit more soon, because we've not spoken about sports for a while. But
but we were constantly hammered. The first 3 or 4 podcasts we were hammered, completely dead. I didn't even know what to say or how to talk.
Yeah, it derailed. But it's great. Honestly, it's great to have you guys with us, and it's one. If you guys need to leave now, this is a perfect time for you guys to go. Well, we're going to wish you guys a Merry Christmas.
Exactly, Merry Christmas.
We'll speak before New Year, but at least for Christmas, Merry Christmas to you both.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bruno.
Big love.
All right.
Well, see you guys.
All right, I'm signing off.
All right, guys.
See you later.
See you later.
Bruno, you stay.
Yeah.
We'll carry on for a bit.
I think James wants to stay. Oh no, he left.
It's good to have those guys, man.
Yeah, it's good.
A bit different for you guys who are listening or watching. A bit different for you guys as well.
It's a pity we didn't have more like Jay, the likes of Jay would
Yeah,
be.
yeah, we can have them.
I'm pretty sure this podcast would have derailed since the beginning with Jay.
Yeah, with the hallucinogenic mushrooms that made Santa. So there we go. James and Michael have left us. Great to have them on. Hopefully, we can, as things start to quiet down for those guys. They are new fathers, so very
Can
busy guys. with work.
re-engage them again.
We can get them involved a bit more as well. And we've spoken there a little bit about mental health, and it's a subject that's close to both of our hearts and a lot of our friends' hearts that have been through struggles.
Yeah.
And we will do probably a specific podcast about that kind of thing. But for now, it's Christmas. It's Christmas time.
I still have one thing in my mind.
There's no need to be afraid. Go on, Bruno.
I think we still need to do a
At
special
Christmas?
podcast.
No, we can't sing too much of that. We'll
No.
get a copyright strike.
We
But
need to do a special podcast on that super gonorrhea thing.
yeah,
A deeper investigation.
I tell you what, though, this apparent sexual reawakening boom that's going to be happening throughout the 2020s, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, fuck
I
it,
am
man.
in.
I don't
Get
know.
me
Well,
involved.
I cannot. I cannot. I think Christina will cut my balls and feed them to me. But
Well, you can both get involved. There was the 60s, wasn't there? There was all sorts
Yeah,
going on then.
I went through the 60s. I know how it was. I've been there. Done
But do you
that.
know what? Actually, that story of Santa, especially with the origins of Santa,
It's actually
there
really-
is so much when you listen to the theory of it,
it's
and there
very
is
believable.
there is scientific stuff to back it up.
Yeah.
That fully backs it fully. I'm like, not only do I hope that's true,
Yeah, the
but
main
how
thing is the
brilliant would it
mushrooms.
be if the whole idea of Santa is of shaman that ate hallucinogenic mushrooms?
It's a story of our lives. We're all Santas.
Yeah.
There's
But-
a Santa in us.
We spoke a little bit last week, or the last podcast. So I was going to say last week. It came out Monday of Christmas being cancelled. There isn't an element of that. It's a bit shit for people. You saw Michael there, whose his mother's going through treatment for
rough time, yeah.
cancer, a very rough time, and his whole family is because of that. You know, and it's not even be able to be there after she's had a couple of years of this. It's fucking heartbreaking, man. Because me and him, like I say, we've known each other since we were 11 years old.
18
First day
years.
of year 7, as we call it here. I'd go around to his house all the time. His mum and dad became like second parents to me almost. And like to know that he can't even go and see them with how much they all love each other, that family,
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking.
Your friendship is of legal age now.
Yeah, and to even know that, but to even know that we can't go round to Michael and Faria's and see their newborn son.
Oh man, he's so small.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, it is like, I've seen Jojo, but I've seen her when they came.
Yeah,
to
I was quite
West-
lucky when I went to see the JoJo, and it was during the lifting of lockdown. But to not be able to see her would be heartbreaking as well, man. She's
Yeah, I know.
beautiful, and Alex is such a lovely little boy now.
But Alex is really nice. I saw him the other day as well in Tesco, and the kid is really, really good.
Oh, he's like my best. He's like my little best mate. I might replace James with his son. Me and him will just live large.
You're just being racist now. You want to you want to be friends with someone light skinned.
No. James is my boy from day. This is crazy how think about how our friend group has formed. A lot of people won't know this or may not even care that actually listen. But me and my group of friends that you're now part of, the majority of us, the core part of it, all met each other when we were 11 years old in year 7. I met James when I was 16. Immediately thought all of my friends will love this guy. Brought him into those guys. Met you a few years later when I was 24?
7 years ago almost.
Oh, less than that then, 22, 23? And it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
it's the same thing again. And friendships form through experience and life. And we've gone through so much life together.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about with Christmas. I'm not a religious person. You're not a religious person. I don't see Christmas as the religious aspect of it. The aspect of Christmas and why it's so heartbreaking for people not
It's
to be able to
just
spend it
family.
with family is that whole aspect, the family aspect. We've all been good boys and little girls the whole year, and now we can't spend one day. But we don't want this podcast to be all depressive. So, when you were a kid, Bruno, try and think you used to get toys stuff for Christmas. Was there one like toy or thing that you were like gassed for getting?
I had a thing with dinosaurs, mate.
Say, oh mate, same.
My parents had to buy me dinosaurs
Yeah,
every single time. I
mate,
had
same.
a collection. I had like a fucking little pet zoo made
Yeah.
of dinosaurs.
Do you know the Natural History Museum in London?
Yeah.
We used to
been
have
there.
to go there like multiple times a year. My mum would buy us
Just to
all a
see
little
the
dinosaur
dinosaurs.
thing each, and we'd have a little collection of dinosaurs. I loved them. Love dinosaurs, man.
You know what I had a lot? Dinosaurs, and then something that's nothing to do with that. Transformers.
Okay.
I had to have them. I
I
don't
think
know why.
after it was Action Men for us,
I didn't have Action Man.
and
I
there was
also had
there
a
was
lot
this
of...
old these TV show. Do you remember Gargoyles?
Yes. I do.
Do you remember what
that.
was the other one? Do you remember the one where it was like sharks, but they had like arms and legs?
Wait. Oh shit, I don't remember. I'm only now the only one that's
You know
coming
what I'm
back to my
talking about,
mind.
though?
It was Thundercats. Do you remember Thundercats?
Yeah, I remember Thundercats. Yeah, no. What was the other one? Biker Mice from Mars. Do you remember them?
Yes, I remember.
Bruv,
that.
the light guy with the red motorbike. He was my guy.
Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny was my guy. I loved them. Do you know what? I wish I kept hold of all them toys because they would be worth so much money now.
No, oh yeah, they would.
I remember these Christmases, man. I remember them.
I had a
We got
lot
them-
of Teenage Mutant
My mum was
Turtles.
brilliant. She'd always get us the toys that we wanted, and because all of us boys liked the same TV show, we'd all get one of the characters. It was fucking amazing, man.
I had all the Ninja Turtles, all
Yeah.
of them. It was,
Do you know my favorite Ninja Turtle? Is it
which one?
Donatello? Who's the one with the stick? He does the Aikido.
Donatello.
Yeah, he was my favorite, the purple one.
He was the smartest one.
Yeah.
Because then you had Raphael. That was.
Do you know what I liked about him? He could beat people up. Raphael had the two like almost like Wolverine claw type daggers.
Yeah, and then you had Leonardo with the
Leonardo
sword.
had the sword.
with
Michelangelo was
eating pizza all the time.
and he was dumb. But what I liked about Donatello is he could do them all just with a wooden stick.
Yeah.
I loved that about him.
It was actually nice, man. There were a lot of when I grew up, when I was growing up. You remember He-Man?
Yeah, it wasn't that big in my generation, but I know. Yeah.
What else?
I have the power.
Yeah, the Zodiac. What was it?
Zodiac Killer.
Saint Seiya.
Zodiac Killer.
You remember it was a Japanese thing, the Saint Seiya, that they were like the star signs.
The Chinese. Oh no, the Zodiac ones. Yeah.
Chinese. No, I also watched Tsubasa. That they took half a day just to cross 2 meters.
What, the football one?
Yeah.
Do you know what's mad about that, Bruno? Go on the JD on the Adidas store.
Yeah,
They've got Tsubasa link ups.
I know.
That's why I wish Jay was here, by the way, because you know Cream, the like famous club. They've done a collab with Adidas as well.
Really?
Yeah. But Tsubasa have got a collab with Adidas. Pokemon have got a collab with Adidas.
That's good, man. But
imagine these things when we were kids. You'd be the littest guy on the playground. You'd be the guy.
You would. But there was another one. Fuck. It was.
Remember Beyblades, Pokemon, the TV shows I'm talking before the game, before the little toys.
Oh,
Japanese things took off in the 90s.
There was a thing called, it's not Starship Troopers because that's the movie.
I know the one.
But there was
it had the guy who played Snape in it.
Yes.
Star Quest something?
Something like, oh my god.
It's on Netflix now. It's on
Really?
Netflix now. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. The guy who plays Snape looks like an alien, isn't it?
Yeah. I used to watch a lot. I grew up also watching MacGyver.
They're
Back in the day,
re-releasing do you know Firefly?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Firefly, it was actually a very good show as well.
They're redoing it. Star Quest, yeah, that's the one. I'm sure of it.
What's his
Galaxies? Was it Galaxy something?
I don't remember.
Right, let me just go Netflix. Galaxy Quest. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so. I don't remember. Yes.
Yeah. Galaxy Quest.
Yes.
I never watched that. That was I never remembered that one.
There was good movies.
Who was the one? Yeah. There was one with that Sam Rockwell. Similar type of thing.
I don't remember.
A comedy thing in space, but
No, I don't remember. I like I told you, I used to watch MacGyver a lot, but the original MacGyver.
do you know what I used to watch when I was a kid? And this was probably a show from like the 80s and early 90s. Columbo.
Columbo, yeah.
I used to love that, bruv. That was lit. You know what I mean? The guy solve. I'd love the thing when he'd just be like, "One more thing." He'd be like, "Okay, you went there,"
Do you remember?
and he's about to leave, but he'd be like, "One more thing," because he knows he's got the dirt to drop on him. It'd just be like, "Mic drop. I know you did it. Nice try. You thought you were all clever by using fucking a potato peeler that went down the trash chute, but I know it was you. I found it. Holla."
The TV show.
Columbo was lit. I don't care.
What was it? A class? No, A team. Whatever it was.
The 18.
Yeah, the original one. The oh my god, that was.
Mate, even the remake's decent.
Oh yeah. But the TV show itself with Murdoch was insane on that one.
With Mr.
Much
T.
more. Yeah, Mr. T. It was really good, man. Really. The movie is amazing as well.
The
It's
new
really
movie's good as well, though, with Rampage Jackson.
Yeah, it's really good.
And the guy from District 9,
No, and also
the South
guy-
African dude.
the guy from Hangover.
Yeah, Bradley Wilson.
Yeah. So
But
it's
did you
actually
see
really good.
District 9? Did you see that one he did afterwards where he played the robot?
No, I didn't see
I
that.
can't remember what it's called. It's sick, though. It is sick.
Ah,
He's a
but,
phenomenal actor.
but yeah, going back to what you were saying, Christmas is all about family, man. I'm not a religious guy. It's family. It doesn't have any connotation for me with any.
It was
kind of
never about
religion.
that for me. It was never about the religious side of it for me. It was about seeing family, spending
And
time with
waking up in the
family.
morning, opening
Yeah,
the
that
gift.
feeling of me and my brothers playing, even just a little when we sat there just mugging each other off. It was just playful and fun and happy.
I remember one Christmas where my father gave me the first Nintendo that ever came out.
Which
Brother.
one?
The first console from Nintendo. Literally just Nintendo. It was just called Nintendo.
Entertainment System.
Yes,
The
it
NES.
was
It was the NES, yeah.
it was insane. I remember playing hours.
Was that you? That wasn't your first console though.
No. I had a Amiga and Commodore, the old ones, the ones that you had to load the
You know,
game.
Commodore
5 cassettes
used to sponsor Chelsea in the 80s, man.
back in the day. But I had one that you would imagine. I had. You remember the movie with Stallone? Not Stallone. Schwarzenegger. Commando. There was a one, and the game for that existed. It was 7 cassettes to load.
It's
the
funny
game.
you say that. The first console I had was a Sega Mega Drive, and the first 2 games we had, one of them was Sonic, the other one was RoboCop.
RoboCop.
The OG with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
So Schwarzenegger played a part in the 2 basically first games that me and you played on a console, an actual console.
But I remember playing.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Games.
That guy's still alive.
Do you remember Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
I played the
The
Donkey
OG
Kong that
Donkey
was
Kong, the arcade
literally
one. Yeah,
the
yeah.
arcade one. Jumping Jack. The one with the starships that you would just fire.
Space Invaders,
Space
whatever it's
Invaders.
called. Yeah.
Space Invaders. And then
Galaga.
I remember playing the first ever FIFA that the pitch was like this.
Yes. Do you know what? Some of those early FIFAs were sick. I can't remember what FIFA it was, but there was one where you were indoors, and if you put enough power on the throw from the keeper, you could score from it.
You could score exactly. And
It might have been FIFA 95 or 96.
I don't know, but there was also a secret that when the keeper had the ball, if you put a player of yours in front of it, he would always kick it against you and it was always
Yeah.
goal.
Do you remember the first FIFA World Cup game? I swear it was like 98.
It was 98. It was the one in
It had
Korea.
Do you remember? No, that was 2002.
Was it?
98. Where was that? That was France. Do you remember
Yes.
the song, the Tub Thumping? That's the band. I get knocked down,
Yes.
but I get up again. That song is an anthem across the world now.
Yeah,
But I
of
remember
course
that
it is.
song when I'm choosing England to play against Germany, and Darren Anderton is in the team.
There
That's
you
how
go.
old that game is. Madness.
I remember.
I never remembered him as a player because he played for Tottenham, but
But imagine now playing that FIFA.
it'd be fucked. But the nostalgia,
Yeah, you'd be
nostalgia
like,
of it would be mad. Imagine
How do I
us,
run?
imagine us live streaming that on a PS1, FIFA 98, Alan Shearer bagging the winner. That was a mad game. And
Baggio for
that's when I
Italy.
remember graphics taking a turn, because up until then the graphics were pretty 2D,
Yeah, but for
and
us it was amazing.
it sort of gradually started getting to that point where they were 3D. At that point, it was like, oh my god, this is amazing, isn't it? But now you look at
Remember,
it and you think how shit those graphics actually were.
I remember playing 2 or 3 FIFAs where the pitch was like that sideways, and when they did the
The
transition
first
to
FIFA,
the other
FIFA
one,
94, FIFA 94, I
Yeah.
think was the first one. It was a bit like the first football game I played. Do you know a game called Sensible Soccer?
Sensible Soccer. I was going to tell you.
I had that
about
on the
as
floppy
well.
disk. That
Yeah.
was one of my favorite football games ever. I've got it on a ROM now, on an emulator.
What was your first person shooter? Doom.
GoldenEye, I think.
No, I played Doom. Doom
SNES.
back in the day. Oof.
On
And
the
Command and
64.
Conquer. Command and Conquer for strategy games. It was.
It was,
fucking
but the
insane.
first sort of shooter game I had, it wasn't the first person shooter, but it was a game called Total Annihilation.
I remember that. I remember.
It was like one of those strategy games, war strategy games, where you build a base and the army around it.
Yeah, yeah.
That game was lit. That was on floppy disk. But
Yeah.
Sensible Soccer was so lit. Do you know what I loved about that game? You could start a career. Do you remember they had those custom teams?
Yes.
One was called Up the Chippy, and every player was named after a chip shop.
Yeah.
They had one called The Professionals, and I remember one of the names was Prostitute, and I was like, what is that? Because I
What
knew
is
all the other things. I was like, what is that? And I always played as the team called Emotion Overkill,
Yeah.
and every name was a type of emotion.
Oh my god.
I love that game, man.
Do
It's
you
still, you
remember-
can still get the ROM. I'm going to try and find you the ROM. I've
Yeah,
got it somewhere on my PC or
we
my
need
hard
to
drive.
find them.
I'm going to send it to you. We've got an emulator. You can still play it.
And do you remember Wolfenstein, the first Wolfenstein?
Yes, that
Oh
was
my
again
God.
that was my first person shooter.
Wolfenstein was
2D block
amazing.
things. You remember?
Yes.
I remember that was the first time I used to see a dog in a game that I had to kill. I wouldn't kill him. I
Yeah.
wouldn't kill the dogs. I was
No,
like,
but
no.
in that one you have to.
But it was
because
so
they kill you.
blocky because it was like you'd move one square right,
You move like
and the
this.
whole frames would try
Yeah,
and
you would
continue.
go like this.
Yeah.
And when you went
Yeah.
over the bends, the guys were in front of you.
People complain about frame rate now. Try and play those frame rates.
Fuck.
It was mad.
I remember one of my best memories was playing.
Wolfenstein, bro, the OG on a floppy disk.
No, but
On a
remember-
floppy disk. This is how the age we are. I'm 29.
I'm
and we've gone from
37, mate.
that type of game where games had just started taking off to where we are now.
Yeah.
Mad.
You go to Cyberpunk now, literally.
Exactly. Or even the latest Wolfenstein game.
Yeah, the Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Oh man,
Compare the
but
original to that one.
you
Mental.
know-
And I tell you what, go on YouTube because there's so many compilations like that. There's one with the FIFA from the first one to now, Wolfenstein from first to now, Elder Scrolls from
Oh
first
my
to
God.
now.
Oh my god! But you know what? Which game disappointed me as hell? It started really well. Do you remember Duke Nukem?
Yeah.
Duke Nukem was my first contact with a stripper. Shake it.
Look
baby.
at that. You can see my balls from here.
You got I've got balls,
Balls
of
of
steel. And when he goes, shake it, baby, shake it, and then you would give her the money and shoot her in the head, anyways.
Yeah.
But then it was a really disappointment because they went through that. Duke Nukem 1 and 2 were like first person, or you-
Imagine what they could do with that now if they
and
remade
then,
it.
but then they went into a fucking 2D thing. I'm like, what? Another game that killed me that was really good when it came out, Max Payne. Max Payne, even not the last one. The last one
yeah.
is insane, but the first two they were really good as well. Really, really good.
Do you remember a game called Urban Chaos?
Yes.
You played as a copper.
Yes.
That game was mad. It was one of the first
Bruv.
3D games I played on PC.
What about Taxi Driver?
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Crazy Taxi, you mean?
Crazy Taxi, yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, Carmageddon was the funniest
Yeah,
one.
yeah, Carmageddon.
When you would kill,
man.
when you would run over an old lady, it would give you more points. If it was a pregnant woman, it would give you more points.
Do you know what? Some of my favorite games ever on PS2 were the Lord of the Ring games.
Yes, actually, they
Those
were.
games were actually great, even though they weren't the sort of open world games sort of feel that you'd have now, or where the Japanese games like
Yeah.
Final Fantasy were turn based. That game was so fucking good. It
You know
was
which
so
game-
good.
Which game I'm
I've
gonna
still
buy?
got my PS2 with those games, by the way. I can hook it up
Bro,
anytime.
I have my Super Nintendo in my parents' house. But you know which game I'm planning to buy now? That one with the samurai.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
There's a couple. There's one Sekiro, and there's one Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima, the most recent one. It
Yeah.
looks amazing, man. I'm
One of
absolutely-
Sekiro is made by the same people that made Dark Souls.
Yeah.
That would probably be too tough for you because you've not experienced that game style where
Yeah.
there's no checkpoints or game. You can't
It's
save at any
just
point.
fuck
If
it,
you die in the first point, you die. You have to start again.
start over. again.
Whereas Tsushima is the one you're talking about. Ghost of Tsushima, Colin's played it. Ask him about it. He's loved it.
Do you remember Slenderman?
Yeah, but that's modern. That's
That-
modern.
but
you
that
know?
game was good, man. That
Even
game-
the idea of Slender Man, we were talking about urban legends
Yeah.
last week. This is a good point actually because he counts as an urban legend.
Yeah.
That is so modern. I think the first recounts of him are like 2008.
I will tell you what were my two favorite games that I had for Super Nintendo: Legend of Zelda and Castlevania.
Link's Awakening was that the
Yeah.
first one?
And Castlevania.
Oh, Castlevania.
my-
Do you know my first experience with Castlevania was on the Game Boy Advance.
Yes, yes.
It
that
was
good.
sick. But even the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets I had on Game Boy Advance, it was mad. I had it on PS2 and Game Boy Advance. The game was so different on both,
Yeah.
but it was sick. Actually, no, I had the first one on Game Boy Advance, Philosopher's Stone,
Yeah.
and then I had the Chamber of Secrets on PS2. They were such different games, but they were sick. And even again, the second game I had on at Game Boy Advance was one of the WWE games.
Oh yeah.
But it was so fun. It was just this 2D idea, and I'd be the Undertaker, and you'd run across the ring and go.
And you just papa.
It's all 2D. It's so
Tombstone
fun.
Pile Driver. Go
Yeah.
on.
One of the first games I had on SNES or on the 64, maybe it must have been the SNES actually, was GoldenEye.
Oh, that was good. man.
Such a good
That
game,
was
man.
good.
Like the Battle Royale and that.
Yeah.
And again, one of the other great games I had on PS2. Do you remember Time Splitters 2?
Yes.
You could-
Fuck me, man.
The Battle Royale, you could have, because we'd have all four of us, you could play as the monkey, killing everyone.
Yeah.
But I remember one of the screams is like a default scream that you can get on stock sounds. It's like, like that. But what the monkey was that I'd always play as a monkey character because I thought it was so funny, this monkey going around with a Tommy gun killing everyone.
You know what I used to play on computer? You remember fucking hell, Counter-Strike. And I had a friend of mine, he was such a cunt.
Do you remember
would play-
Time Crisis is similar?
Time Crisis,
Yeah.
yes. But imagine this: you're playing Counter Strike. Everyone playing online, microphones, headsets, whatever. And that friend of mine, he was known and very proud of not shooting once to kill anyone. He would
But like
fucking
Deus Ex.
kill you with his knife all the time. But imagine you're just going around the corner and you just hear, "Hey!" You literally hear on your headset, "Hey!" You're like, "What the fuck? You're dead," and you're gone. And I'm like,
See,
"What the fuck
this
did
is
you
what
come from?"
this is what I like about Cyberpunk now. You have two options basically when you start a mission. You can go in stealth, grab someone, non-lethal kill or lethal kill, or you can go all guns blazing. But you can
Like
mod
Hitman.
yourself. You can mod yourself so that your shots are non-lethal, but it takes them out,
Yeah.
or they are lethal and it takes them out. It's what I love about that game. It's so complex, and this is how
I-
games have developed.
I don't know why, but one of my favorites of all time, and I can still play it at any time, any Hitman game.
OG Hitman, the
Yes,
latest
and-
Hitman, like visually was good,
Yeah,
but it was just like
and it's really
didn't
hard,
have the same feel.
It was really hard
Yeah.
playing the OG one. Fuck you know. Man.
It's like, do you remember Splinter Cell?
Yes.
Splinter Cell was like Metal Gear Solid.
Snake.
This
Snake.
It's got to
Snake.
be. You've got to sneak. You've got to sneak, and it's so hard to sneak because you can't do anything but sneak. But if you do anything but sneak, you lose.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid was so good
Metal
for that.
Gear was really nice
Yeah.
when you heard the other guy going, "Snake."
Snake,
Snake.
snake, snake. It was like Lethal Weapon type feels, isn't it? Mad.
It was fucking insane, man. But there's so many good games.
Man, we
that-
could sit here. We should probably actually do a podcast about reminiscing on
Gaming.
these things.
Yeah, but we need to have Michael Ring on this one as
Yeah,
well
yeah, yeah.
because he's definitely up for that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the hype?
And Liam would actually
when-
enjoy it, but he wouldn't
Yeah.
join it. But
Do you remember the hype when the first football managers came out?
yeah.
Oh my god, everyone was playing that shit. Man.
Do you remember they had a FIFA manager
Yes.
and a
I-
PES? Do you remember PES manager, Pro Evolution manager?
Do you remember
They
did,
both imagine. The thing is, because I remember those games when they came out. It was a long time after the first PESs or FIFAs came out. PES used to be so much better than FIFA.
Yeah,
Up
but then it
until
lost.
PES 6, when everyone from PES 6 developers went to EA and developed
I
FIFA.
still think their gameplay, the actual gameplay, is better and more fluid on.
No,
PES.
it's not. It's so much slower. It's the problem with both of them is FIFA seems a bit too fast and
Yeah.
PES seems a bit too slow. But PES up until 6 was perfect.
I just think now the new one, I played it with my brother-in-law, and for me, I'm always a FIFA guy. I've always been
It's too
FIFA.
arcadey. PES
Yeah.
has become too arcadey.
But it's to control the players. It's different. It's much more complicated to control a player on PES.
But this is the thing. Why is it so different? It shouldn't be.
No, it should be the same kind of
Yeah.
engine.
It's like if you play a first-person shooter, if you play Battlefield or Call of Duty,
Yeah.
whilst they're different games,
It's
the
the same
concept is
way
the
to
same,
play.
the movement is the same. How quickly you move your analog stick to the left works the same. Whereas FIFA or PES, you move your analog stick quickly to the left on FIFA, he moves so much faster than he does on PES.
Yeah.
Or if you move him too slowly to the right on FIFA, he moves faster on PES than he would on FIFA.
Yeah,
And it shouldn't be that way.
The thing for PES, I think it's more realistic. It's more close to reality and controlling the ball.
I don't think it is. I think it's further from reality. If you look at the way they move, honestly, the latest PES when we played it with Alejandro, do you remember moving your player to the right? His whole entire body and the ball moved to the right.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
No, on FIFA it's just
if
the
you
ball that
if you're
moves.
in real life football, if you move your body to the right, it's not because you want the ball to go with you.
Yeah.
It's because you want that person to look what your body's
But-
doing rather than the ball.
But I have to say to you that FIFA 21 has a big improvement from FIFA 20 to 21 when it comes to ball control, the movement of the body.
Yeah, but on the opposite side, it's lost a lot in terms of the AI when it comes to defense and attack.
Yeah.
Your defense when it's AI are non-existent, but
Yes.
the opposition's defense when it's AI are the hardest thing to ever break down.
Yeah, it is.
And they lost something in the free kicks. For FIFA 19, free kicks were perfect.
Yeah.
You could pick where it was going. Your analogs, you put it that corner.
And it goes.
If you moved your analog stick, that was the place you're aiming for. It would stay there. Now, if you move it, you have to keep it there. And whose hands are steady enough that they stay there constantly?
It's the same thing with the penalties, mate.
Yeah.
Fuck, But even the free kicks now, I don't know, but I think they changed a bit on the goalkeepers as well, because I think goalkeepers are better on FIFA 20.
Goalkeepers were overpowered on FIFA 20. They were They could pull off saves that were not humanly possible.
But on 21,
But the big problem they have still, even on FIFA 21, your player goes through and goal, the ball goes past the keeper takes your player out, you don't get a penalty.
Yeah.
That is still a problem. How
And
do
the
they not have an
handballs.
AI capable of that?
Yeah, but for example, PES, they have a fucking thing for handballs. I have my handball turned on FIFA.
Do you want to know the OG
It
FIFA,
works.
the OG football game? This
Which
is
one?
football 2003.
Yeah. Okay.
You used to be able to start as a schoolboy team.
Yeah.
And after finishing schoolboy, you're instantly into semi-pro. But do you know what I liked most about that game? You could dive. You
Yeah.
could press keys to dive.
Oh, and this one you can as well.
No, but you literally, like, someone was sliding in, it would give you a hint. Dive, square.
Yeah.
And I got it right. Of the 99 times I did it, I got it right once.
This one actually has a funny thing. When you suffer a foul, it actually gives you the option if you want to call that foul, because the referee gives the advantage law. You actually, if you press R1 and L1 at the same time, it calls the ref and the ref stops it, then you have a foul.
Yeah, but the problem I have even now with the new FIFA is it's not enjoyable to play.
It's different. Yeah, I know.
It doesn't have the replay value. What was good about FIFA was career mode, and a lot of people think it's the online gameplay. You know,
I prefer career mode.
I much prefer career mode, developing players, becoming a better player, and then
This
developing into a
one-
manager. But I lost as soon as I started playing this new one. I got halfway through the season, like I can't be bothered to play it anymore.
Yeah, but this one, for example, they introduced things that only PES had. You remember now when you press square when you're doing the team and you press the square, it gives you the option to change the player from center midfielder to a striker or attacking, whatever. You can actually improve the players and make them change their position from left back to left winger or.
But that in itself is stupid.
But no, it's not, because sometimes
The
you
players
set
should keep their
players.
original position, but you can train them in a
Yeah,
subsidiary
you
position.
should be able to change the position however you want, because that's what happens in reality. Look at Cuadrado and Juventus playing as a right back.
Well, let's think of two players in the Premier League right now who would probably be some of the very quality holding midfielders that are right backs: Trent Alexander-Arnold and Reece James.
Yeah.
They've both played there. They're both they're both quality players. But if Frank Lampard started playing Reece James in central defence midfield, the next FIFA squad update, his position would be changed to central defence midfield.
Yeah, but that's wrong, because
Exactly.
they can make both positions, and this is one of the things that I was trying to see now on this FIFA, is that if I can have a player, if I can have him doing 3 different positions, and then I'm able to choose them when I put them, if I can actually change them, because it gives you that exclamation triangle with
Yeah.
everything. So I think
Anyway, let's finish talking about
yeah,
FIFA and
games.
video games. We've been talking for a while. But Christmas itself, we know what the aspect of it is for us. We spoke a little bit earlier about our hopes for the future. What is a similar question? What is your hopes for the future for this particular podcast?
For this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, even if this doesn't kick off to an insane number of viewers or anything, for me the views for this podcast is for us to actually have fun, express
Yeah.
whatever we have to talk about, because that's the thing. Me and you, we never had problems talking about our life in front of anyone. It's not a problem, even in real, in front of someone physically. So for us talking in a podcast, it's literally the same thing. It's the same shit, but with a different smell. It's literally like that. So my hopes for this is that actually we can carry on doing this, maybe more often, and also try to have more people involved in this, coming more often
Yeah.
with us, because that makes it's different. It's very different to have other people here with us. We, like you said, me and you, we have our own fun, but it's always nice for like a little bit of fresh air to have someone
Yeah, it's
here
something
with us.
different. I mean, again, similar. My hope for this is that I don't personally care if it takes off for people, or thousands of people, hundreds of people listen to it. I like that we have this creative output. My hope is that we continue to do it. We keep talking about subjects that we want to talk about, and it progresses and it goes further.
Yeah.
And we personally get better in terms of the skills it requires to be better at this.
Communication, yeah,
Yeah.
and not only that, we develop our communication skills. We don't have, well, we never had problems speaking in front of anyone, but like
No.
but we can
But
express
yeah,
ourselves
but
better.
strangely, I prefer this setup that we have, where it's this on a
Yeah.
whatever Zoom call.
It is because at the other one we would end up getting hammered all the time.
Yeah,
To
and
be honest,
even in terms of seeing us or hearing
Yeah.
us is difficult. But
This-
this
and
is
this is here-
good. This is good.
editing, it's easier to edit as
Yeah,
well on this
and
format.
I hope that next year this continues and we talk about similar subjects, and
You know,
maybe the channel develops into more. We go and do the things that we were talking about, where we go to these haunted places
yeah,
and
and we
debunk
can
it, or
actually
whatever.
document that.
Yeah, just have
film.
fun. Yeah,
The thing is, I also see this podcast as how can I say, like a therapeutical thing.
Yeah.
Because we actually let everything out here. We talk about everything, and I can see if we watch back to our initial podcasts and now, we're actually going sometimes more deep into subjects that affected us.
Oh yeah, I think the main thing is, in terms of being on camera and knowing that people watching, we're not worried about that at all anymore. I think in the first few, that first 3, 4,
It was
that
weird.
was a thing, like, worried about how we act or what we say.
Yeah, but
This one, we know that now. I know that we're comfortable. It's easy for us.
yeah, it is. Even though sometimes I still say some things that I shouldn't. I'm a little
Yeah, and people that are listening and watching this, you won't know, but a lot of it will be edited out.
A lot of it is edited.
But let's finish this with how we want to finish it. I don't think we're going to do another one before New Year. We may or may not. I don't think we will personally. I think this is a good one to end the year on.
Yeah. We
This
do
is-
one in the beginning
yeah.
of the year.
Yeah, exactly, a new one. This is
after we get our mushrooms from the Vikings.
yeah, from the Arctic Shamans. But this has been the Ball Games Podcast Christmas special. It's been a joy. It's been enjoyable. Hope you enjoyed it as well.
And
Give it a like, a thumbs up, a whatever, a subscribe, whatever YouTube tells you to do or Spotify tells you to do. If you've enjoyed yourself, leave us a comment if you think you want to say anything.
I've been enjoying myself under the table all night long.
Yeah, I can tell your arms non-stop. I've been enjoying myself with this whiskey, mate. Fucking hell. I can literally see it in my own eyes on this.
Yeah, but look at the
But-
size of this bottle. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, this is not the small one.
Well, this has been fun. Thank you again to Liam and James for joining us.
Michael and James. Not
Yeah, I'm going to cut that out because I dropped my thing. Thank you again to Michael and James for joining us. This is, like I say, yeah, enjoy, like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, comment
Merry
if you've
Christmas.
enjoyed it. Merry fucking Christmas and
Merry
have a
fucking
happy new year.
exactly. See you next year, mate.
All right, guys.
Ciao.